I'm coming for all of you. Right now, there's a 15-year-old sophomore in high school who has no idea they're studying nursing just so they can wipe my ass in 17 years. I'm 50 and single. That's a fantastic combination. I'm going to spend my golden years dating a handful of spit and a jug of Astroglide. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I'm back. That's a catchphrase for somebody? I don't think it was it? Nobody just, you can't just say, I'm back and have that be your catchphrase. You can say, I'll be back. That's an Arnold Schwarzenegger catchphrase. That's absolutely, yeah, so that's him. All right, so if I'm saying I'll be back, which I guess I would say if I were leaving, but I'm not leaving, I'm actually back. So it doesn't make sense to say I'll be back. If I were to say I'm back, back for the attack, then of course we all know I'm docking, as we all know. We all love fried chicken with docking, don't we? Remember that from year 2, I think? Go ahead and buy it. Or go, you know what? Go listen to it on the YouTube channel. Hey, folks, let's go ahead and throw this plug this early in the show. Have you subscribed to the YouTube station yet? The station? I don't know if it's a station. It's more of a channel. There's a 40-Year-Old Boy YouTube channel. Go subscribe. I'll wait. I probably won't wait. Oh, are you back? You're back. Go and subscribe to that. I'll tell you more about it later. But I got 2 weeks left to fill out my roster, and otherwise YouTube cuts me off. And they won't. I don't know if they'll not let me post anymore. They erase my content, or I can't figure it out. I don't know exactly what the rules are. I get the emails and I send them to Gio and I go, interpret this for me. And he goes, you need more people to sign up. So guess what? I'm telling you, I need more people to sign up. Seems a little early to do plugs, especially after having had a week off last week. And I'm embarrassed about that week. Please do not kid yourselves. Don't think to yourself, well, Mike, he took a well-deserved week off. I didn't want to take a fucking week off. It just kind of hit me like a ton of goddamn bricks, and there was nothing I could do about it. If I recorded the show on Tuesday last week, I'd have been fine. Or if I'd have gotten sick on Tuesday last week, I'd have been fine. Because everybody, here's the thing, there's a death flu flying around, as we all know. Perhaps you are experiencing it yourself. Perhaps you have it now. Perhaps you're laying in your bed right now with me stuffed into your ears and you're thinking, oh, this will cure me of the flu. I don't know why you would think a podcast would cure you of the flu, unless there was some sort of flu-curing podcast with step-by-step things to do with soup and orange juice and all that other bullshit. Are there medical podcasts out there? There have to be, right? Stuff like, is this infected? I'm inventing that show for the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network. Is this infected? I'm back. Take a look at me. I'm back, and is this infected? But you know what? If you say that too fast, it sounds like disinfectant. I'm back and disinfectant. I'm back and is disinfected. Oh, see the trouble we're having with language right now? This is a weird show. I got to be honest. Taking a week off, you think to yourselves, well, Mike needed the time off. It refreshes and rejuvenates him. I forgot how to do this. Like, I've forgotten how to talk, or at least talk in circles, certainly. I've come to you with a litany of things to talk about. I've got to go back to Japan. As you heard from the theme song earlier, you're thinking to yourself, when's that original theme song going to come back? Folks, I got so much fucking Japan left to cover. And if I've got a new song, I'm going to burn the fuck out of it. I'm going to go ahead and play it until you guys are playing it in your head when you sleep. As you lay there with the flu and you think, bling, 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 bling. You're going to be playing that 40-Year-Old Boy Japanese theme in your goddamn head, courtesy of David Hernandez. And it'll echo inside your skull as the flu tries to take you over, but you'll fight it off with a handful of Tylenol and a Japanese song. That's how to fight the flu off. That's what again, go ahead and listen to my podcast. Orange juice and chicken soup and a handful of Tylenol and a Japanese song. That's what'll do it. But it's got to be the Japanese plinky plinky song. It can't be a Japanese J-pop song. We can't have any J-pop. I may have some J-pop to tell you about from Japan, but not yet. I have other things to cover. First of all, like I mentioned, the flu. Everybody wrote me and was very nice. I'm fighting off yawns if you can't tell. People wrote me and they were very cool and they were like, hey, dude, I hope you're better. Even my brother Lenny's like, don't fuck around with this, man. It's killing people. And Lenny was in town for one fucking day and he didn't call me because he thought I had the flu. But here's what really happened last week, folks. I came home from the gym on Wednesday and I had a fever. And it was right around 100. And I'm like, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just take a nap and I'll fucking fight it off that way. Because again, I had nothing else. All I had was the fucking fever. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, well, this could mean something's coming on. So I banged down some Theraflu, but daytime Theraflu. And then I went ahead and I'm going to go ahead and get a nap. And I lay down to go to sleep and I wake up fucking, I slept like 12 hours. It was like, what the fuck, man? Not even, it might have been even longer than that, 14 hours. And then, of course, I woke up, and when I woke up, my fucking fever was worse. It was like 101. Like, even with all the sleep, it didn't fight off. So I said, all right, well, this is fucked. So I need to take some more medicine. And then, of course, I posted a thing to tell you guys what was going on. I was groggy doing that. And then I laid down. I wound up sleeping, like fucking 22 hours or something like that over the course of 2 days. And people were very nice. Again, everybody's like, oh, dude, we hope you're better. That's the flu. You could die. That's fucking rough. And all these bad things are happening. Did you get a flu shot? Which, by the way, don't ask me that. Why are people asking me questions? I'm sick. Don't ask me a fucking question about my life. Mike, did you get a flu shot? Why? So you can shame me because I did not? I haven't had a flu shot in a while. I think 4 years ago was the last time I got it, 2013. And I know, get the flu shot. I know, because you're contagious, or other people are. And especially the fact that I drive a goddamn bus, you know what I mean? And I got all these people getting on and off. And I know, I can actually probably tell you who the fucking guy was who got me sick. It was a dude I picked up over the weekend before that, because again, I didn't get sick until Wednesday, but I picked this dude up on Sunday night. And he was one of the last dudes I picked up, and he was sniffling and coughing and sneezing. He was that commercial, the sniffling, coughing, sneezing, achy head, fever so he could rest guy in the back seat. And I fucking, it's like, don't leave your house, man. And I know there's a big thing now where everybody's talking about, well, one of the reasons the flu goes around is because work and school are not tolerant of absence. Work through it, be tough, do that. And they shame everybody into coming in and doing their fucking job or going to school, when in reality they should just be going, hey man, why don't you stay home for 2 fucking weeks? You ever work in an office and some dickhead shows up and he's fucking sick? And he's breathing the same air you're breathing, and you're breathing in his fucking droplets after he sneezes, and then he's touching fucking doorknobs, and he's probably licking your coffee mug. Yeah, I guarantee it right now. I'm telling you this. If you're in the office and there's a guy with the flu, and you leave, he's licking your coffee mug, because that guy's in misery, and he wants to make sure you're in misery with him. So he wants to take down the whole fucking office. He's patient fucking zero. He's going to come in there, he's going to breathe in your face, he's going to lick your coffee mug, he's going to sneeze outside of his shirt and onto your shirt. He's going to do all these terrible things. And you know that guy should be at home, and you want to fucking murder him. I feel that, I used to feel that way when on public transportation, when you get on a bus and somebody get on there sniffling and fucking hacking, and you're like, dude, fucking go home. Or a plane is the fucking worst. I told you, because that's a death tube. And you walk in and there's a guy in there, and he's just fucking exasperating, or maybe he's aspirating. He could be aspirating or exasperating. I don't know what my fucking brain tried to make me do there. If he was aspirating, I think that means he's dead. So I think it was more exasperating that he would be on in that condition. Yes, that's exactly what I meant. But I was not in that condition. I had just fatigue and fever. Thankfully, I didn't go full blown. I didn't get the nose. I had the bad eyes. The fucking, when you get a fucking fever and you get the sore eyes, like it feels like you've got tears in your eyes all the time, but you don't. They're just really sore, and when you touch them, they're real sensitive. I have sensitive eyes, folks. When you go to rub your eyes, like, yeah, I'm doing it now. Here, oh, wait, listen. Hear that? That's my squeaky fucking eye. That's right. I got moist eyes, folks. I get sensitive, moist eyes. You can't do anything about it. That's just the way you're born. I was born that way, folks. I'm like Jessica Rabbit. I was drawn that way. I'm not bad. I'm not bad with these sensitive, squishy, fucking moist eyes. I was just drawn that way. I was born that way. Here's the left eye. Not as squishy. Oh, now it is. All right. Jesus Christ. I think, hold on. My eyeball has fallen out of my head. I'm sitting here, dude, aren't you glad I took a week off and came back to do this fucking bullshit? Listen to me with my thumb in my eye. There's my right eye. Fuck, shut up. All right, so hi. So thank you everybody who reached out and said, hey, if you're sick, man, you should stay home and sleep and do all those things. And you know what? I did. I stayed home and I slept. I wound up, but then I was pissed because, a fucking Thursday when I woke up, I was fine. And in my head, I'm just like, nah, you know what? You fucking blew it. And then I was like, I should do a fucking show. But at that point, I'd already put up the other show. And I'm juggling episodes too much as it is these days. Solo fucking me barking into a microphone by myself. And what's I'm saying when I say I forgot how to do this, I forgot how to talk. And if this show hasn't been an example of that, I don't know when it would. But it feels to me like I've forgotten how to talk. And I know that sounds strange to you because that's all I've done is fucking talk. But it's coming harder than it used to. And aren't we all? Really, when you want to look at it that way, aren't we all coming harder than we used to? It's just I'm just fucking like I'm just fucking bursting it out all over you guys. I'm just throwing voice ropes all over your fucking face. I hope I won't get it in your eyes because it'll burn. Then you'll have burning eyes like I had. Then you'll have sensitive, moist eyes. Do you want sensitive, moist eyes? I'll just come over and throw voice ropes in your face, and you'll have sensitive, moist eyes. And then you can do this, squisharoo. All right, so thank you everybody who reached out and thought I was fluish. And I guess I was fluish. I think I was more feverish and fatiguish, but I don't think the flu ever kicked in. And I should probably keep it quiet because the flu's probably lurking around here somewhere. And he's like, "Oh, you had enough," and it's gonna swoop back into my fucking lungs. And then look what happens. I'm gonna be fucking fried and laid out. And then you guys are gonna be like, "Oh, I can't believe poor Mike is sick again." And you're very nice to be concerned about me, but and it's so funny because I always tell you guys, I'm like, "Ah, I never get sick," and but I get sick. Yeah, I get sick once a year, once maybe twice. But it always seems to interfere. Like I get sick on a Wednesday. You know what I mean? It's like, you fucking idiot. Now you can't record a goddamn show. And some of you were very nice. Our friend Alan Miller, who's a fine gentleman from the Midwest, he was like, "Hey, Mike, you know what you should do? You should do 48 shows a year. And that way you got 4 built-in weeks off." And I can't do that. I mean, it's bad enough I took 1 week off last week because then I'll lose you fucking guys. Everybody's going to fucking bail. And everybody, and here, me, here's how I read it. He's like, "Hey man, you can take 4 weeks off. It's not like we don't have fucking 10 years of other stuff to listen to." Now, I'm sure he didn't say it like that. I'm sure he was like, "It's not like we don't have 10 years of other great content that we can tune into." But when I read it, it was, "Hey man, you should take like 4 weeks off during the year because, it's not like we got 10 other fucking years to dig through of your bullshit." And I'm shocked that Alan Miller would come at me with that kind of attitude, quite frankly, and especially knowing I was on death's door last week with the flu. As everybody knows, I don't know if you heard, folks, I had the flu. Me and my sensitive, moist eyes were laying up in bed and just fucking moaning. That's another thing too, when you get that fever and you just moan. I've talked about that. When I'm sick, I sleep and you just lay in bed under fucking 3 covers and you just hold your balls and you moan. Oh my God, that's my default position. And honestly, it's a position I like. Like I would probably do that even if I wasn't sick. You just fucking, I lay on my right side and I get everything, all of my whole plumbing, all of it is in my left hand. I'm just holding onto my balls right there and I'm just fucking moaning. Oh, that's a great default position to be in. I do that. I've scared off so many girlfriends that way. They're just like, "What are you doing?" This is how I like to do it. Could you do me a favor and rub my head? And and also please I need to get a sty cup for my sensitive, moist eyes. Oh man, I am a prize, man. Fucking nail me down, ladies. Sensitive, moist eyes, handful of balls, and moaning. This is the fucking guy you want to wake up next to as he throws voice ropes all over your face and you get a Japanese song to ward off the flu. All right. So, folks, here's the thing. I'm back, as I've mentioned. And what else this is the thing I wanted to tell you about last week, but I couldn't because, again, like I said, fever and fatigue showed up. It gave me a double F whammy. I want to say a thanks that I probably could reserve this for the end of the show, but I'm going to do it now because I feel like, you know what, I should have done it last week, and so I'm going to get this out of the way right now. Folks, here's the deal. I had a listener party. That's what it seems. It's strong. A listener of the show, a wonderful gentleman by the name of Seth, and his lovely wife Tracy. They both listen to the show. And they contacted me and they're like, "Hey, you know what? We're heading to Disneyland and we're going to be rolling through your part of town. Would you be interested in getting together at some point?" And I said, "Well, you know what? You tell me. I'm in. Give me the schedule and I'm happy to make the scene." So last Monday, before Fever and Fatigue showed up, I wound up in the clutches. It sounds weird. No, I met Seth and Tracy for lunch, and we were trying to figure out where they wanted to. They were like, "Where should we meet?" Because they were coming through, and I go, "Look, man, you got to pick because I don't know what your route is. I don't know where you're coming through. I can meet you kind of anywhere." And I also feel freaky because people are very nice, and when they meet me, they're very nice and they pay for lunch a lot of the time. When they don't, you'll hear about it. But other people usually do, which is again super cool, and I fucking love you for it. But then I don't want to pick a restaurant that's expensive or crazy because if they're going to pay, then I don't want to be a dick about it. And also, I will do this. If I pick a place that I think is expensive, I will always pay. I mean, I'll just be like, "Look, man, I'm throwing money in," and I'll give you the opportunity to say no, like a nice person would. How terrible is this? But if you ask me to lunch and you say, "Hey, Mike, pick a joint," I'm not going to pick somewhere crazy expensive because I assume you're paying, and that's very nice of you, and I don't want to drag it. It's the thing with sushi is always a fucking tricky thing. I don't want to take you to fucking sushi, and then we wind up banging down a $90 meal. I did it with Lou. Our buddy Lou Fulmer was here, and for lunch, he and I ate sushi, and I think it was like $75. And he took the check, and I go, "Look, I would have never ordered that second round of albacore if I'd have thought that you were paying," and that's totally true. Like if I go to an expensive joint, I'm willing to kick in anywhere. If you said to me, "Mike, kick in," I'd kick in. But if we go to an expensive joint or something that I picked, I'm definitely trying to kick in, whether you think I should or I shouldn't. Now, you will eventually probably say, hey, Mike, no, you don't have to do that. I'm paying for your lunch and that's that. And then I will graciously put my wallet away because I don't want to be a fucking dick who just goes ahead and shoves $40 in your face. I'm not that guy. I'll shoot a verbal rope right over your face, but I'm not going to shove $40 into it. Who am I? A jerk? I'm not that. I can't even talk. See, I forgot to do. Who am I, a jerk? Who says that? Nobody. You know who says that? The same guy who says, I'm back. Who am I, a jerk? I'm back. All right. So Seth and Tracy asked me to dinner, or to lunch, I should say. And I said, wherever you want to go. And they were like, how about a sub sandwich place? And I said, well, I'll be truthful. There's not a lot of sub joints around here. When I get a sub sandwich, I usually get it. There's a grocery store by my house that makes them. They make good sandwiches. But otherwise, you're looking at Subway. There's a place called Suzanne's Deli. I don't know if I threw them Suzanne's Deli, but there's a few places that are okay. But I said Bay Cities, but that's in fucking Santa Monica. And also, again, like I said, I don't know their route. I know where I live. I live in the Valley, and they're going to Disneyland. That's in fucking Anaheim. So I don't know if they want to meet somewhere off the 5 or something like that. I'm happy to do it, but that's the thing. Banging it out is always the issue. And then they were just like, well, we were looking for places. What about this place? Here's a place called Casa Vega, is what Seth said. Now, let me tell you about Casa Vega. Folks, Casa Vega is a delightful place. It's not far from my house. I'm going to give you this. It's within a 10-mile radius. I don't want to narrow down exactly where I live for you folks, as you've all scrambled over to the Google to look for Casa Vega. But I'm within a 10-mile radius of a Casa Vega. It's a delicious place. It's a delightful place. It's a place I've gone to many times with a Lily Von Stupp. It's a place I think I've probably talked about it on the show here. I've been there with a former wife. I've been there with a former girlfriend. I've been to Casa Vega. I had sex in Casa Vega once. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm not going to get into that story, but I actually had sex in Casa Vega one time. I didn't tell Seth and Tracy that because they just wanted to have lunch. As far as I know, they didn't put anything else on the table. They were more interested in lunch than anything else, and I did not. And I'm not going to sit there and go, hey, by the way, I've had sex in this joint, but I did not because it's fucking dark. I will tell you this because that was what I did say to Seth. He's like, how about Casa Vega? I go, who's coming here? And he goes, me and Tracy and our daughter. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, Casa Vega it's fucking great. It's really good food, but it is dark as fuck in that joint. I mean, it's like eating in the Batcave. I mean, it is crazy dark. And that is one of the reasons I was able to have sex inside that fucking restaurant. So I didn't tell him that part, but I told him, I go, it's really dark and I don't know if it's kid friendly. And he's like, well, no, it's fine. She'll be fine. And we'll bring her, an iPad or whatever the fuck. And I'm like, all right, good. That's whatever you want to do. Cause I don't know. I don't know who his daughter is. I don't know how old she is. Cause again, at the same time, he's like, we're bringing our daughter. She could have been 30. I get no fucking idea. Cause they're young, but I mean, they could have adopted some 30-year-old from somewhere. They're taking care of somebody's autistic kid. They get some waterhead lurking. I get no fucking idea what's going on. Because I know them. They're lovely people. They've actually come to see me in San Francisco when I did my shows there. And let me tell you about Seth and Tracy. They always are. They gave me gifts in the past, and they were amazing. They were the ones who gave me a Mike Schmidt autographed baseball and a Mike Schmidt baseball card. And then they also gave me. Then the second time they fucking saw me, because Seth and Tracy saw me once, and then Seth brought his mom to see me one time. And that was kind of weird. Let's put it this way. I don't have any recollection of it being weird, but him telling me that he brought his mom made me go, man, that's kind of fucking weird, right? Because I mean, and so then all right, well, I'm getting ahead of myself, but he brought his mom to see me. And also, so like I said, they gave me the Mike Schmidt autographed baseball, and they gave me a Mike Schmidt baseball card. And then the next time they saw me, they came to the show, and I put this on, Seth's not on Facebook, so I can't ever post him in anything. Tracy is. But they gave me a Mike Schmidt jersey, like an official Phillies jersey with my name and 40 on the back. And that they gave that to me, and I was just like, Jesus, you gotta be kidding me, man! That's fucking outrageous. So I have a Phillies Schmidt 40 jersey. It's fucking fantastic, and I mean it was really amazing. And again, the Mike Schmidt signed baseball. They've been very kind to me and very lovely, and so that's why, especially when they're like, you want to go to lunch, I'm like, well, fuck, I should buy you guys lunch because of all the fucking stuff you've done for me in the past. But instead, I said, yeah, I'm happy to meet you guys. Casa Vega, let's do that. By the way, I've had sex in that restaurant. I did not mention that to them. I was going to tell their 30-year-old daughter. So they wanted to go on Monday, and I said, look, I got Shannon at noon. I can probably head over there at 1 o'clock. And they said, how about 1:30? I said, done. Perfect. So Monday I went and saw Shannon, and then, talked to her about a lot of things that are going on in my life and with me and myself. And again, this is pre-flu and fatigue, so I didn't even get to tell Shannon about that, about being laid up and all of my fears that I would lose my entire audience because I took a fucking week off, and that's usually what permeates inside my goddamn skull every time I go ahead and I'm not able to do this for you guys. I think to myself, well, nobody's ever going to return next week. They're gone. All of the enthusiasm is finished. I've been talking to somebody just recently. I was telling them some things about, because I'm possibly going on the road, and they were like, are you going to do a show when you're here? I'll get to that later. I'll tell you all that, but I will just tell you this. I told them, I go, look, I think the enthusiasm for me doing live shows is over. And they're like, you haven't done a live show in forever. I'm like, I know. But 2 years ago when I went to Pittsburgh and 2 years ago when I scheduled Phoenix, and they're like, well, so what? People want to see you. And I'm like, nah. And that's the thing is making people talk me into people wanting to see me is the dumbest thing in the world. But then at the same time, booking a theater and putting tickets on sale and then having nobody buy them, that's also the worst thing in the world. So let's go this way. That is the worst thing in the world. The second worst thing in the world is having to make people talk me into thinking that I should be out there doing live shows because people need to see me. Now, do I need to be doing live shows? Yes. But do I need to be scheduling like 3 or 4 in different cities and putting them on sale and renting theaters and things like that? Not just yet. Probably. I should probably do one, like a fledgling effort. And I'm going to do one, I think, soon. But I'm going to tell you about that in a minute because instead we were talking about lunch in a place where I had sex. All right, so Seth and Tracy were like, let's go to Casa Vega. I said, great. I went to Shannon at noon, had to do some stuff, run some errands. And then really quickly I ran over to meet them for lunch. I was running late, unfortunately, because my errands got the best of me, and I wound up on the goddamn phone. And is there anything worse? Let's talk about this right now. Is there anything worse in the world right now than talking on the phone? Do you not? I don't ever want to talk on the phone. I find myself having to call, like I had to call my tax guy, and I got to call the fucking tax board here in California. And when you really have to actually call somebody and speak to them, oh my Christ. I call Mex, and I talk to him about stuff. And I call my mom, and then that's like it. Who else am I going to call? My buddy Dennis will call me. Evil Dennis will call, and I'll talk to him, and that's fun. I like talking to him, but even at the same time in my head, I'm like, why wouldn't you just text me? I mean, it's the. I know it's fucking weird. It's a disease. Really, it's a disease, right? Where you just think to yourself, well, why would you ever fucking want to call me? Why wouldn't you just text me and we can get this done that way? Nobody's fucking having to hear anybody or sit there and talk and hear inflections and things like that. But at the same time, how many times do you text and you do that thing where you just record your own voice and then talk to text? I will tell you this: the iPhone 10, which I have now, I think that its AI is off. I think the guy who lives inside my phone, the Siri or whatever the fuck, it's probably not a guy. It's a lady, right? It's a chick. There's got to be a chick who lives in my phone, and she fucks up my talk to text all the time. And I mean, so much worse than my iPhone 5 did. I mean, really bad. All right, well, let's talk about this first of all. The iPhone X is bigger, obviously, than the iPhone 5. So when I text now, I find myself, I have iPhone 5 thumb on an iPhone 10 screen. So when I try to hit a quotation marks, I'm always hitting the @ symbol. And, I'm trying to hit an M, I'm hitting an S. I mean, I'm just all over the place. And and the thing is, it doesn't autocorrect out of certain words. So sometimes it changes, I was fatigue in my head. I was going to say flu. Terrible. It changes fucking words. I can't think of an example, but it does. It fucks it up. And it makes me stare at it. And I'm just like, why would you ever make that choice? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? When it changes fucking to ducking, I get that because Siri doesn't really know about fucking. She's a robot. She's not ex machina. You know what I mean? She's not well versed in in getting a robot cock inside of her. Or maybe she is and she just doesn't want to show it on her phone or whatever. Maybe she's demure. Maybe my Siri is a virgin. I get a virgin Siri. Who knows? But regardless, so changing fucking to ducking, I can understand that. She's just kind of got that, hey man, I'm a robot and don't swear. Or I don't know what the fuck this means. Or what is love? Whatever they do. That's like all the alien chicks who fuck Captain Kirk. Captain Kirk, what is this love? So now when I text, I don't cover enough real estate with my thumb, and all my texts are all fucked up, and they don't autocorrect the way they should be. So that's a mess. That's something I'm learning with my iPhone 10. There's way too much screen. I love it. It's big. I love the photos it takes. I love the screen. It's huge. But then again, when I'm texting, I've got so much ground to cover. It feels like, you ever see a guy when he returns a kickoff and then he cuts all the way across the field? Or if a guy runs a bubble screen and then he's walled off and then he goes in and he tries to run all the way back across the field? That's what it feels like with my thumb. My thumb is running a broken bubble screen. All of my texts are a broken bubble screen, and I'm just waiting to get dragged down behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. Although when I typed that out, it would say dragged down behind the fine of porridge for a boss. It would be so bad. A fine of porridge for a boss. So, where were we? We're talking about iPhone 5s and X's and 10s and thumbs and all that stuff. Lunch. Oh, that's right. All right, so I was going to lunch. Well, fuck, wasn't I saying something else besides lunch? I don't. Fuck, we had the phone. God damn it, I hate this. See, I forgot how to do this. I forgot how to do this fucking show. I forgot the talking. I forgot all of it. So I wind up going to meet them for lunch over there at the Casa and the Vega. And I pull up. I'm running. Oh, talking on the phone. That's it. I hate talking on the goddamn phone. That's what I was trying to say. So now you know that. And I don't hate talking on the phone, but it just doesn't make any sense to me anymore. But then when I wind up talking, when I'm texting, I wind up verbally spitting things into the goddamn phone and then having to recorrect. There's nothing worse than that because then I have to correct it. That was what I was going to bitch about. Hi, we're back on track. I was going to say that when I talk to text, I then have to go and correct the whole fucking thing, so I might as well just text anyway. Fuck my mouth, just give me the thumb. By the way, that's exactly what Gene Siskel said to Roger Ebert the first time they had sex. Fuck my mouth, just give me the thumb. All right, so I'm implying that they had sex, and that's a bad thing. By the way, did you know this? Gene Siskel was a degenerate gambler. Did you know that, folks? I don't know if you knew that about Gene Siskel. Roger Ebert was a lovely, cherubic, fantastic person who was kind to everybody he ever met. And Gene Siskel would he literally is the cliche of the old reporter who would take lunch in the same place every day by a payphone so he could call in bets for the races, the horses, and the bulls. He was that guy. He had a bookie. He was a degenerate gambler. And it actually, what's funny, he actually got in Dutch really badly to some bookies, and they said to him, "Hey, dude, we're going to cut your thumbs off if you don't pay up." And that would have, imagine the show then. It's sneak previews or at the movies or whatever the fuck they did. Then Ebert's carrying the whole thumb load, and Siskel's just got a wrapped up club. That's not good at all. He shows up, he tries to give the thumbs up, and he just got a fucking weird, he's got to go straight up Four Horsemen. He's got no thumb to fucking show because they whacked it off because Rasheed Wallace hit a 3 and beat the Bulls. Hi, that was my bad beat. I don't want to put that in Siskel's lap. That was my bad beat. Go by year 1 when I told my one gambling story when I was way in the hole and decided, you know what, I don't like gambling no more. Boo-hoo. Here's my eye. All right, so, by the way, Gene Siskel, yes, degenerate gambler. I'm not sure he really fell in Dutch with the mob, and then they threatened to take his thumbs. I just have to go ahead and clarify that because there will be one person who writes me and goes, "Holy fuck, I didn't know that about Gene Siskel," and they're going to put it online, and someone's going to say, "Oh my God, Mike Schmidt has the inside scoop on Gene Siskel," and I'm going to go, "No, I didn't mean it." But then people listen back to the show and they'll be like, look, not only do I not believe you didn't have sex at Casa Vega, I absolutely do not believe that the mob was on the trail of Gene Siskel's thumbs. And I will tell you that you are absolutely right about one of those statements. All right, so I don't like talking on the phone. Have we established that? I think we have. So Seth and Tracy wanted to have lunch, and they wanted to go to the Casa Vega, and I pull up, and I'm running a little late, unfortunately, and I come in, and it's dead. I will tell you this, because I even said to him, I go, it's not kid-friendly. There's a fucking huge bar in the front. You know what I mean? You got it right when you walk in, there's the bar, and then the dining room, you got to take like 10 steps, then you're in the dining room, which is fine. I mean, it's not a lot of lushes out there at fucking 1 o'clock in the afternoon. At least I wouldn't think so. But I'm not in there in the afternoon quite a bit. I'm not in there at all quite a bit. If I go at night. I go late at night. That's how I handle my business. Because again, like I told you, I need darkness and under the cover of the night to do nasty things inside of a restaurant. So I walk in, and the bar is kind of empty. There's only like 4 or 5 people in the bar, which I know sounds like a big amount, but most of them are sitting in booths and they're also eating lunch. So, there's nothing wrong with you having a drink if you're having some Mexican food during the day. That's fine. I can understand that. I mean, if you're just at the fucking bar and you're banging down fucking Boilermakers at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, then something's happened. Your wife has left you, or you owe some sort of money to, you know what? Maybe you're Gene Siskel. Maybe that's exactly what happens. You're banging down Boilermakers at the bar and you're hiding because you know what? When that payphone rings, here they come for your thumbs. Here they come for your thumbs. Here they come to take your thumbs. That's what Mighty Mouse came to take your thumbs. Here I come to steal your thumbs. That's Vandy Kaufman was doing a song about Mighty Mouse coming in to steal your thumbs. All right, so look at the sub levels we're going to here. Look at how meta we've been. We're so goddamn meta. I'm gonna get a drink of water here. I think that's me cracking open the top. Hold on. All right, there we go. Refreshed, sort of. I'm not even sitting at my desk now. This is weird. I will tell you this. Since I went to Japan and I did the show sitting in a bed, now I want to sit anywhere but my desk. So now I'm sitting in a chair in my living room, and I am such a grandfather. Like I might, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to take a picture right now so you see exactly what I look like, and I'll post it eventually. No, I won't because I keep threatening to post anything. All right, here we go. This is what it looks like here, folks. This is the arrangement. Let's do this. Did I take a photo? I don't know. This is me doing a podcast and taking photos directly in the middle of it. All right, so I'm sitting in a chair, and that photo did not come out, so you'll never see it. But I'm sitting in a chair, and I have a blanket on me because it is cold in California, and by cold, of course, I mean it's like 52 degrees, which is cold enough for me. C is for cold, and that's good enough for me. But I am under a blanket and two pillows, and then I have the laptop over here on my side table, my end table, and then the microphone is on one of these pillows sitting here, and I'm holding onto it like I'm doing a goddamn show. I'm clutching it to my breast. Like I can't let it go. Oh, I must do the show directly into the microphone. And when I was testing my voice sitting here earlier, I was like coming in from the side, and like this. I was coming in this way, and I don't know if that sounds good. But then I said, switch around to the front, and I think the front sounds better. But the front means I have to hold it. Like if I came in from the side, I can kind of balance it and weird, but you know me, I care about sound, folks. I care about giving you the most professional show that I possibly can. By the way, I found out that I'm not. Who was it? Gio was like, nah, dude, you got to do this thing. He wants me to buy foam. He's like, dude, you got to buy some foam for your house. And look, as you know, I'm made of money. And so I thought to myself, well, what better thing to do than go ahead and purchase fucking whatever, $90 worth of black foam to surround my fucking desk. And then he sent me one that was like, I think it was $100, and then one he's like, here, this one's $70, it's better. But here's the thing that I hate about it, folks. It's like a big fucking bat wing. Like if I had to wrap myself, you ever see when the mob kills a guy and they roll him up in a carpet? Sure you have. We've all seen that. If I could do that, like if I had to roll myself up in like soundproofing insulation and then talk that way, it'd be a little close quarters and I'd be very warm and sweaty, but it would be better than this, because what this thing wants me to do is it wants me to get, there's like a wing nut contraption and an arm, and it wants me to hook it up to the microphone itself. So my microphone is a freestanding microphone, and now I'm supposed to clamp this motherfucking thing around its neck, which I feel terrible. I don't want to strangle my microphone. That just sounds fucked. But it does. It wants me to attach the foam via a wing nut screw thing, whatever. And then I guess when I talk, it'll bounce into the foam and directly into the microphone. And I don't know how that works, but Gio does, and he told me I have to do it. I listen to Gio a lot these days. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad. Fuck that. It is a good thing, because I need direction. I need somebody to tell me what the fuck to do. I probably should have called Gio when I felt the fever. I should have said, what should I do here, buddy? And he would have told me exactly what to do. Rather than take Theraflu and go to sleep, he would have said, hey, man, why don't you go ahead and just do some jumping jacks or whatever the fuck. I'm sure he's a medical professional. He's got 2 dogs. He's got to know something about fixing people. I don't know why that would make the sense at all. Why would that be the case? If you knew anything about dogs, why would that mean you knew anything about people? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all. So I wanted to meet Seth and Tracy for lunch. I get to Casa Vega. I walk into the bar, and I give a cursory glance around the bar, because there are booths in the bar. And I like Seth and Tracy, but the only other 2 times I've had any interaction with them in person was also in like a nightclub bar situation or a theater where I was performing. So in my head, maybe they're bar people. I don't know. Maybe they're sitting at the bar and they've got their daughter. Again, like I said, their daughter's 30. So maybe they're pouring Cosmopolitans down her throat to get her to sleep all the way back down to Disneyland. I don't know what her problem is. Whatever they've got to do to keep that 30-year-old kid who's all out of control under control, then that's fine with me. I don't want to tell people how to parent. I don't have a kid. I don't have any kids. I did that on purpose. because I can't even take care of myself, as witnessed by the fact that I'm sitting here like a grandfather under a blanket and two pillows doing a podcast for you guys, sans foam. Wait till I get the foam. When I get the foam, go ahead, I'll tell you it's a foam show. You know what? Fuck it. I won't even tell you it's a foam show. When I get the foam, I'm not going to tell you it's a goddamn foam show. I'm just going to do the fucking show, and at home you're going to be like, that sounded remarkably like a foam show. And you'll write me, and I'll go, ha ha, yes, absolutely, you've guessed it. You know what? Maybe we do that. Let's do this. Let's have a contest. Let's do for the rest of the year. You decide when the foam has arrived, because I'm doing the show because it might sound that, I don't know. Look, I have no idea if it's going to sound different or not. I know that fucking Geo says it will, but at the same time, I don't want to attach this fucking cape to my goddamn computer or the microphone or any of that shit. I just want to talk. I just want to talk, folks. I don't want to produce. I don't want to fucking edit. I don't want to do any of this. What happened to me? Everything went south. Here we are in year 10, and it's just me again, sitting under a blanket and two pillows, talking to you fucking guys with no foam. And now everybody wants me to buy foam and then fucking cure the flu and all this other bullshit. Leave me alone, folks. Let me hide. Let me hide in this fucking chair underneath this blanket and these two pillows. Let me just go ahead and get my bearings and try to live. Let me live, god damn it. Let me just be that guy who goes, because again, like I said, I forgot how to do this. I didn't do it last week. And then I didn't talk. I talked today at the gym, but then I don't talk the rest of the day. Like, I never talk. I'm not with anybody. I don't see anyone. So the only time I talk is when I talk to you guys. So, but imagine going 2 weeks without doing that. I guess I talked to Uber people over the weekend. That was fine. But, a lot of the time people get in the car and they don't want to talk anymore. And that's fine too, because I don't want to talk to them. I mean, unless they do want to talk. But I will tell you this, Sunday was fucking annoying. I won't lie. I mean, I drove Sunday. I had to go ahead and do chase a bonus. So I was chasing the bonus, and it was, first of all, it was deathly slow. Sundays are fucking death, man. They're so slow. But I wound up doing like 10 rides. Dude, you want to hear how bad it was? I did 10 rides. I made $36. Think about that. Because I told you usually average about $15 an hour. Or you try to get like maybe $8 a ride on average when everything else fucking averages out. And sure enough, man, I mean, Sunday was so bad. Because then, and that was over like 5 hours. And then I finally, because I needed to stay out a certain amount of time to catch a bonus and shit like that. And then I caught the bonus, but then I'm like, all right, I want to get this round number. I want to try to get this much. And I had a floor that I set for myself. Look, folks, when you're alone, these are the games you play with yourself to try to stay alive. Otherwise, if I didn't do this kind of quick math in my head, if I didn't go out and chase these goals, I'd just be here under a blanket and pillows. And oh my God, does that sound lovely? That sounds like exactly what I want to do for the rest of my life. I just want to sit here under a blanket and two pillows and just stare and just watch curling. God damn, do I want to watch curling? Is anybody out there watching curling? I hope you are. I hope you're watching the Olympics. And I mean, look. Ice dancing and fucking chicks flowing around, and I mean, the pairs of people. The Germans won, the fucking the double gold or whatever the fuck, the mixed pairs. I don't know what the fuck you call it. Man, I watched a toss in one of those things. Or I think they won. Did they win, or they won in their heat? I don't fucking know. All I know is this chick got thrown in the air. She must have gotten thrown like 12 feet in the air, and she's spinning all over the goddamn place. Now, dude, she's got fucking machetes on her feet. That's fucking dangerous as hell. You're fucking flipping this chick in the air. She's doing a goddamn barrel roll times 9 in the middle of the fucking sky, and then you got to reach up and grab her before she hits the ice, and those two machetes go driving into your goddamn jugular vein. That's some badass shit, man. Everybody's like, oh yeah, skaters, whatever, kind of poofs. Nah, fuck that. They're the baddest. They're fucking rough and tough. It's like, the only thing they should do is they should add fighting, like in hockey. In hockey you could fight and poke a couple of guys around. And what if in fucking mixed pairs, two people did the routine at the exact same time, and if they ever banged into one another, they just fucking threw down. Had a big time. Because I bet, that fucking Tara Lipinski, she could throw some goddamn hands, man. She's got that gold medal. She just wrapped the fucking thing around her hand and just start bashing somebody in the mouth. Johnny Weir's wearing all those goddamn rings. And this is weird. I'm going to say this because I haven't heard anything about it on the show. They don't really deal with it. But, and again, I don't care. Live your life. But I think Johnny Weir might be gay. I don't want to say, it's not a pejorative. I certainly don't mean that in a mean way. I'm just saying that seeing him, I think to myself, you know what? He's, that guy he may be a gay man. And again, I'm not saying again, like it's not a bad thing. And maybe, you know what it is? the guy just pings my gaydar. Now, I don't want to be that guy. I know it's a cliche. But when I see Johnny Weir, something inside me just kind of goes, you know what? I think that dude might be a cock guy. I think that's a cock guy right there. So much cock for Johnny Weir. And Adam Rippon, who's the other guy, who, by the way, could that guy be cooler or more fun or more funny or more well adjusted? I just, every time I see him talk, I'm just like, that guy's the coolest fucking guy in the world. I don't understand how you can be on the world stage like that and be so incredibly cool and fun and funny. I guess he's been waiting his whole life to seize this moment, and good for him. But, all these other people, these biathlon people and stuff, they're all just, they're boring. They're all boring. But then the figure skater, I guess the figure skaters, that's kind of their jobs. They have to go ahead and tart it up for everybody, right? Because that's their deal. They're just skating around in goddamn leggings and 15 scarves and playing Beethoven or whatever the fuck. So, and that, so that's a little different than going out there and just fucking snow piping or whatever the fuck Shaun White does. You know what my favorite event is? I will tell you. First of all, curling. Curling is the sporting equivalent of me laying under a blanket with two pillows on top of me. I have watched it. I've taped it. I've actually taped the curling. That's how fucking sad it is. That's how sad my existence is. That's how sad my life is. But there's nothing more I like, because you know what they do? They play it late night here. So I'll try to tape it during the day, but if I don't get it, I'll watch it late at night. And it's just that just to know. Then I got that 1 a.m. curling just waiting for me. Oh my God, do I love it. Or I should say 11 until 1, because I've been going to bed early these days because I'm trying to fucking get my schedule. After Japan, man, I tried to fucking hammer my schedule out. That first week was all fucking weird with jet lag, and I told you. But then I started to do a thing where I was getting up at like 9 in the morning. I'm in the gym by 10, and that's fun, and I like doing that, and that's the life I like to live. But then the weekend comes along, and then I've got to go out and hit the road and drive the car, and then I'm driving until like 3 or 4 or 5 in the morning. And then come Monday morning, I'm trying to get up again at 10 to go to the gym and then see Shannon. And I'm 50, man. I can't be doing that shit. You got to have a schedule. You got to have a routine. You can't be a guy who just fucking puts your body through the ringer like that. All of a sudden during the week, you're like you're working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living. And then sure enough, you come to the weekend and you're working 9 to 5 in reverse, like at night. And then you fucking get to bed at like 8 in the morning. And then you're, oh, well, you know what? I should get up at 10 to try to salvage this. You're only getting 2 hours, and fuck that, dude. It is a nightmare. It is a fucking nightmare. And it's not really a nightmare. That seems really strong. And I shouldn't call it a nightmare, because there's other people out there with so many other terrible things that are going on. There are other people out there who are sick. They've got the flu. They've got jobs that they hate, and they've got their sleep schedules are all off. They're not sleeping at all. There are children in hospitals right now who are just angry at me because I'm saying that this is a nightmare. I apologize to all the children in every hospital all across the world. And I don't know if you know this. They do that. They pipe me into the children's cancer wards and the burn centers. That's how they do it. They play me there because it lets them realize, you know what, things aren't so bad. You know what, I might have this fucking stage 4 thing kicking my ass, but that idiot's watching curling at 11 o'clock in the fucking evening until 1 under a blanket. You know what, maybe I don't want to get any older. I just can't, because if that's what's laying ahead for me, he's driving Uber strangers around, he catches half a fucking flu, he sleeps 22 hours, and he gets up and he cries about it. Fuck that guy. Nobody wants to, and sure, he had sex in a Mexican restaurant one time, but so what? I gotta say, I don't envy that cat at all. Bring it on. Bring it on, melanoma. I will fight you. I will ride you down like Slim Pickens on a bomb. Let's fucking take care of this, because I am not going out like that guy. And his brain slowly turns to fucking pudding as he gets older and older, and he has to sit in his ARP thing to try to become one of the fucking retired people. I love that. American Association of Retired Persons. I retired. Who the fuck gets to retire anymore? Nobody's retiring anymore in this country. The safety net has been yanked. They took it away. You want a safety net, they got to put it on the ice in fucking Sochi or whatever. No, Sochi was like 4 years ago. Where are they now? South Korea? Pyongyang? That's where they're at. Fuck. All right, what were we talking about? Curling. Sure we were. That's exactly what we were talking about. Let's talk about curling because we love it. I can't stop watching curling. And you know what? And again, I watched the figure skating. Like I mentioned Johnny Weir. I don't know if I mentioned this to you guys. Yeah. I mean, I'm on the fence about it. I don't want to just come right out, and because I don't know if he's embraced it yet. Has Johnny Weir said anything? I haven't seen if he's come out at all. But I gotta think anybody who wears 7 rings might be gay. That's all I'm going to say. Anybody whose hair looks a lot like the ski jump then I think that dude might be gay. Unless it's a tribute to the ski jump, I have no idea. Anybody who wears chiffon, anyone at all, anyone who literally looks like Liberace came back from the grave. That's what Johnny Weir kind of looks like. He's a little gaunt. He's a little pale. He looks like he could be like a knockoff Liberace. You know who he looks like? I bullshit. I go this route. He looks like what Ryan Murphy would cast as Liberace in American Horror Story. Like if there was a Liberace zombie or a Liberace monster, Johnny Weir would pull it off. Johnny Weir looks exactly like what it would look like if he was casting in like American Horror Story Hotel. If the ghost of Liberace was staying in a room, that's what Johnny Weir looks like. And by the way, I can hear you all frantically screwing up and going ahead and looking to see where Liberace is. Who's Liberace? What is Mike saying? Liberace. Google it. And also Google his brother George, who was a lovely gentleman. I watched the figure skating, and there's Tara Lipinski, and she's sitting next to Johnny Weir. This is my favorite part of the whole thing. They'll throw it to them for analysis. And Tara Lipinski and Johnny Weir are fucking brilliant because they're fun, they're funny, they're smart, and they can speak to what's happening on the ice in a way that makes me care. Like I couldn't. Normally, come on, who cares? Figure skating, whatever, it's fine. They jump around, House of Pain style. They get thrown in the air, everybody falls down. You're rooting for that kind of bullshit to happen. But when they talk about it, and there's no because all right, let's put it this way: on other events that I'm watching, the people are so haltingly. Like it sounds like they're reading a script about the game that's unfolding in front of them. The hockey announcer, I heard the color guy today, and I was like, oh my god, that was grim. It was terrible. I don't know who the fuck it was. And then anybody calling the ski race, that dude was a fucking lunkhead. And Terry Gannon is out there too. Terry Gannon was a fucking basketball player his whole life, and now he's calling like biathlon or some bullshit. I don't fucking know. But the downhill, I was watching the slalom. Folks, I have not left my house in days. I drove all fucking weekend, and then I got up Monday. I went and saw Shannon and the gym, and I went to the gym today, and the rest of it just kind of hunkered down, man. I had the best patty melt I've ever had in my life 2 days ago or yesterday or whatever the fuck. And other than that, I'm just fucking hiding. That's it. And even though I'm a yes, like if an offer came up to do something good, I would do it. Like I went to lunch with Seth and Tracy, which I'll get back to in just a second. But right now, I just find myself just kind of hiding and watching the Winter Olympics. And I'm not even Olympic dudes. I'm not that cat. I'm not a guy who's like, oh man, I can't wait for the Olympics to start. But there's something about sports at 1 a.m. that I can't ignore it. I love it. I love overnight sports. It's my fucking favorite thing, especially because I don't know, I'm not fucking checking the standings. So all that shit's live to me. And curling? Are you fucking kidding me? When they I want to curl so bad. But I want to be I just want to be the roller. I don't want to be the sweeper. I can't sweep. I can't be a sweeping guy because I'd fuck myself up. I'd throw out a back disc or some shit like that. And God knows I'd kick the stone, or the stone would, it would be coming too fast, and I'd have my foot between two rocks and it'd get smashed by both stones. And then I got to limp off with a curling injury. Nobody gets a curling injury. Certainly not a foot injury. Like maybe a back injury or from the sweeping. But if I got my foot crushed between the two stones, I'd be the laughingstock of the curling society. Hey, every time they had a meeting about curling with the dumbass color guy, whoever the fuck he was, he'd be like, oh, well, the United States had a guy named Mike Schmidt one time who got smashed between two stones, which would be just terrible. And I can't sweep. But however, I can definitely be the guy who slides on one knee and releases the stone. I can absolutely release the stone, which is my favorite sequel to Romancing the Stone, as a matter of fact, besides War of the Roses, which is, I guess, not really a sequel, but it just had the same people in it. All right, so, but curling, I don't know how they keep score. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I just know that it's just a big game of there was a game called Rebound when I was a kid, and you would slide like a ball bearing with a plastic hat, and you'd slide it and it would bounce off two rubber bands, and it would shoot down, and you'd shoot it up, bang, bang, it would ricochet off two rubber bands, and you'd try to slow it down because there was like a 10-point and a 20-point and a 50-point, I think. Or it could fall completely off the board. So basically, you know what it was? It was like curling, but like a mini curling, like a totally small curling, and you rolled it with your hands and there was no broom. That's really nothing like curling. It wasn't rocks. It was a ball bearing. It wasn't a stone. There's no sweeper. But you were trying to slide something. So it's like shuffleboard, but again, without a shuffle. Or it's like the game I talked about when my dad would get drunk and he'd take us to the bar and you'd have to slide the disc on the, like, play a bowling game or whatever the fuck, and you have to, fucking shuffleboard, bar shuffleboard, whatever the fuck. So Rebound, you would actually, I think it's called Rebound, you would slide the ball bearing and bing bing off a couple of rubber bands and it would roll down into the 10 or the 20 or the 50, and you also wanted to, knock your opponent off and stuff like that. So just like curling. When I watch curling, it's really nothing like curling, but it's sort of like curling. But I watch curling now and I'm just fascinated by it. I want them to knock the stone out. I don't know how you keep score. There's like a green and a red, and then the center one that has the Olympic rings. Every time I see it, they're like, oh, and the USA gets 3 points. And I don't know how the fuck they got 3 points, because there's like 2 Korean stones in there, and there's like three American stones, but they're not in the same rings. And aren't the rings different? Like, isn't the green like 1 and the red 2 and the inner circle 3? I don't fucking know, man. I don't know. I still don't know, because they'll try to explain it. They'll be like, all right, well, you want to get the stone in the house, and you want to try to get the other stones out of the house and take the Korean stones out of the house. I'm like, I don't fuck, dude, just throw. Just roll it. Just roll and sweep, and I'll just fucking stare at it and go to sleep. You know what? I'm just going to roll. You roll and sweep, and I'll just hold my balls and moan. We're a perfect match. I'll just sit there. I'll turn over onto my side. I'll watch you guys. You're rolling and sweeping. And my favorite is when they yell at when the other people yell in their language, and you can hear them saying, sweep, sweep! Like the Germans or some other fucking country. Because look, sweep is the universal word. A lot of people are thinking to themselves, well, the Germans don't have a word for sweep. Yes, they do. It's sweep with a V. Americans say sweep. The Koreans say sweep. Everybody says sweep. And it's like they're giving orders. But they bark and they yell, and you don't know what the fuck they're yelling. I mean, what could you possibly be yelling? Sweep? Again, that's the only thing to yell. Because when they yell anything that's not sweep, in my head, I'm like, all right, you might want to fucking calm down there, buddy. You want to go home, roller. You're drunk if you're telling your dude not to sweep, because that's what he's there for. He's the sweeper, for fuck's sake. Oh, I love curling. I love it. And you know what? I love it. I don't ever want to understand it. I don't want to know the rules. I've tried to listen, and like I said, it's just peaceful. It's so peaceful to see that guy, and it's just ice, and they roll a fucking stone, and the guy starts sweeping, and then it hits another. Oh my God, it's so perfect. I don't have any clue what the fuck is going on, but you know me. That's what I love. I love TV where I can turn off my fucking brain. I love TV where I can just shut my fucking head off and not have to worry about it. And, you watch fucking basketball, you're keeping score. You're watching hockey, everybody's tense, and they're banging into one another. You're watching the biathlon, and somebody's shooting a guy while he's skiing or whatever the fuck. Figure skaters might fall at any time. It's all tense. Nothing's tense in curling. That is like 4 dudes who went out and got stoned. They decided to throw rocks on ice. It's just perfect. And then they said, it looks like the game I invented. Remember when I told you I invented wall ball, and we were throwing the ball up off the fucking corners of our fucking ceiling? And then we invented waiter with a bad disposition, where we yelled at one another and we were shooting into our dirty dunk. I think it was year 2. I told you guys about that. Curling looks just like a bunch of fucking guys got high and we're eating pizza. And they were like, you know what, man? Let's fucking roll this thing on the kitchen floor and get the broom out and fucking sweep it, man. Let's fucking make this happen. Hey, what do we do with this giant cinder block? I don't know, man. Is there any ice out in the driveway? There is. Let's do that and fucking sweep the shit out of it. Yeah, buddy. Let's do it. That's my bong imitation. That's me hitting the bong, friends. And then going out into the driveway for a little curling sesh. That's how I like to do it. I get high, and then I roll the stones, and I roll the bones like Rush. And then I presto like Rush with that rabbit on the cover. I don't know why I'm thinking of Rush covers. All right. You know why? Because I'm a modern-day warrior. So I watch curling, and I love it. I can't get enough curling. But I will tell you this. You know what else I love? Skeleton. Skeleton is my favorite, because when I watch it, I pretend I'm a little kid, and I'm like, all right, because look, luge is awesome too, because anytime it's tense as fuck, because in luge a guy could die, but still, that's why you're watching it. You're hoping to yourself that a guy, and it's not funny, because a guy did die on the luge a couple of years ago, right? Wasn't it like 8 years ago? Some dude died on the luge. I don't think he was in the Olympics. And you know what? Let's analyze that. That's the stupidest fucking sentence I've ever said in my life. I don't think it was the Olympics. When the fuck else would I ever notice luge? How many times is there a professional lugers association that I'm tuning into? No, of course not. Not unless it's at 1 o'clock in the morning. As we know, I like my nighttime sports. You want to put luge on late at night? Fuck a James Corden. Bump that motherfucker. After Colbert, just put on luge, and I'm tuning right the fuck in. Just me and my buddies will get stoned. We'll roll the bones. We'll fucking sweep it up, and then we'll come in and watch some goddamn luge in the middle of the night. But skeleton, isn't that's like, I lied and I said it's my favorite sport. It's my favorite named sport. Because I think skeleton is just a dude luging backwards. Am I correct? I think it's a guy who he's going head first on the luge. Skeleton is that's just a luger who doesn't like surprises. That's who's engaging in skeleton. That's just a loser who wants to see his own death. He just wants to see it play out. He does not like surprises. He can't just lay back and let it happen to him. It's the difference between being a passive person and an aggressive person. So I guess the passive person, that's a loser. He's just like, yeah, man, I'll just totally chill out here and lay the fuck down. By the way, if you don't think I just, I was going in a direction and I stopped myself, you should respect me because I was going to say something that would have been not appropriate in these problematic times. I thought about it and I stopped, and I'm proud of myself to the point where I'm actually going to celebrate myself to you right now and go, yay, look at me not saying that terrible fucking thing that would have got me in trouble with everybody. So instead, but that's why I love Skeleton. Skeleton is just, like I said, it's just a loser who doesn't like surprises. He's just going, you know what? Fuck it. If I'm going to die, I'm going to watch it happen. And I think Skeleton is just a belly down loser. That's all he is. Loser's on his back and a fucking skeleton's on his belly. But just the name Skeleton, it's supposed to be, look, we're supposed to be having fun here. We're supposed to be watching figure skating and people are celebrating, and there's Johnny Weir in his fucking new costume and Adam Rippon and all these other dudes doing plies and fucking quadruple axles. And then we got to the skeleton. Goddamn, I just love the name of it. All right. So, folks, as I've mentioned, I've forgotten how to do this show. I've forgotten how to talk. But I had to go meet Seth and Tracy for lunch, as I've mentioned, at Casa Vega, which is, as you know, a Mexican restaurant I once had sex in. So, and by the way, had sex in, and a waiter came to talk to me while it was happening. All right, so that's a story I can't tell, but you got the gist of it, pretty much. I was having sex, and a waiter came up to talk to me. And I got to you know why? Here's the thing. I'm just going to tell you this, folks. If you ever go to a restaurant and you ever plan on having sex, not that I planned on having sex, it just sort of happened. But I will tell you this, whether you plan on having sex or you don't plan on having sex, please reconsider the tableside guacamole. Because I will tell you this, if you weren't planning on having sex and it just sort of happens, and then a guy walks over with a bowl of avocados, the mood changes considerably. Maybe not for me, maybe not for the other person who I'm involved with. The waiter, I can tell you, he's got a lot of questions about guacamole that are not going to get answered in the moment. You know, they're going to you want it spicy? What do you think? I'm having sex in your restaurant. How do you think I feel about a spicy guacamole, motherfucker? What do you think I want? Do I want it spicy? You're goddamn right I do. Kick in some fucking limes, man. Let's fucking throw some habaneros. I don't even pronounce the H. But I got to go long on the because, again, I'm in the middle of some sex. All right, so here's the deal, folks. I'm at this restaurant, a place where I once had sex, and a waiter spoke to me while it was occurring, and I walk in and I go into the restaurant portion of the restaurant as opposed to the bar portion. Like I said, there's 5 people in there banging down Tanqueray and tonics at 1:00 in the afternoon. And I walk in and I turn the corner and lo and behold, there's the lovely Seth and Tracy family. They're fantastic people. They're sitting in a booth, and I had told them, I go, look, just start eating, man. Don't even wait for me, because I was running a little bit late, unfortunately, because I mentioned I got caught on the phone because someone didn't get the memo that it's 2018 and you shouldn't be calling people on the goddamn phone to talk. Hold on, water. You shouldn't be calling people to bother them with a voice. You should just text them something with your thumb so that I can ignore it and then answer you 4 hours later when I'm done with goddamn lunch. But instead, when you call, and look, I know I could have hit decline, but it was something that I had to fix in the moment. It was a call I had to take, unfortunately. And then I wound up talking to the person for fucking ever. It seemed like forever, by the way, is like 8 minutes. Have you ever just looked down at your fucking, because again, that's the one thing the iPhone does as well, is it keeps track of how long you're talking on the goddamn phone. Before, in the old days, you used to be on the phone, you'd talk for hours with your girl or your buddy or whatever, you'd fucking do dumb shit. You and Mike Scott would be on the phone and you'd have Dave Rozelle on and you'd trap him into saying bad things about one another because you'd pretend the other guy wasn't on the extension. You know how it worked with a 3-way call when you were kids. And you would do it for hours. You would call all your friends and try to get them to say bad things so you can keep tabs on them. Oh, boy, you were a lovely guy when you were a kid, weren't you? Yes, you were. So I wound up talking to this guy for a while. I was running late. I get into Casa Vega. I turn the corner, and there they are. I don't want to say their last names, but it's Seth and Tracy. Now, and here's the thing. You're going to try to look them up on Facebook, but like I mentioned, Seth isn't there, man. You can't find Seth. He's way above it. He's far too busy in his medical profession job. He's an important guy in an important hospital, and he doesn't have time for you and your social media bullshit. Although he did tell me about the time that he and his buddy, I shouldn't tell. That's his story to tell. I shouldn't do that. This made me laugh. At lunch, Seth was like, because Tracy's a teacher, and Seth works, like I said, he's a medical professional, and I don't want to say too much about them and where they work and where they exist. Well, fuck. All right, hold on. I walk in, and they're sitting at the table. I should go ahead and talk about this. And I turn the corner, and there they are. And how do I recognize them? Because they have a child with them. Like I mentioned, first of all, I thought it was a 30-year-old daughter, and who the fuck knew? Because she wanted a couple of drinks. But instead, they go the other route. They bring a tiny child into a bar-type atmosphere. Now, look, it's a bar on the other side. We're in the restaurant part. No harm done. If you're sitting at the bar, that's a problem with this little girl. Except for the fact that this little girl is the most beautiful little girl you've ever seen in your life. Now, I don't want to say her name because, again, she's a child and she didn't ask to get brought into my world. But if she had sat in the bar, it would have been one of those things where everybody they would have stopped drinking and cleaned up their lives because they knew that somehow they wanted to make the future more bright for this child to grow up in, because she is just sunshine and light and hard candy and everything perfect about everything you've ever seen. I mean, she is just one of the most beautiful. She's got, her hair is like these pin curls out of her head. It just looks like sunshine. I mean, she is just, you just want to kidnap her. You just want to keep her for yourself. And just because you'll always know that you have that kind of beauty around. Maybe this betrays the way I feel about children, probably. She was optimism. She was a little 3 foot tall bundle of hope. It made me think things could be good. So it's Seth and Tracy and this beautiful little girl. And I sit down and they're very nice, and we wind up talking, and I find out again, I talk about Seth's job and I talk about Tracy's job. I will tell you, in the middle of lunch, another couple comes in and sits down at the booth next to us. And then Seth and Tracy's daughter stands up and is looking at them and says hi and engages them in a little conversation. And then she sits down and she's playing with her iPad. And she's not shy at all. She's just lovely, and she's nice to me, and she's interested in me. Not interested in me. She doesn't want to hear any of my bullshit. So she's like, so you have a podcast? No, she didn't give a fuck about that. But what I mean by that is, when I would tease her or I would say something silly, she would laugh and she would be like, no, or, all that. She didn't hide. Because, again, as I've talked about before, I meet a lot of children who are, they hide. They're shy. They kind of avert their eyes, or they just kind of wave, and they don't pay attention, and then they get into their own little world. Well, she had her iPad and she wanted to show it to me, and she's like playing a game, and she was talking about her school and her teacher, and dude, it was so fucking awesome. It was so great. And again, I'm 50. I don't have any kids. I don't have any dogs. I don't have anybody right now. And so when you see that, you are filled with hope. You hope things are going to be okay. You think to yourself, you know what? Not even hope. You know things are going to be okay because she exists. She makes you happy, and she makes you realize there is still joy in the world. Good things are capable of happening to anybody and everybody. She talks at a couple. Hold on. My nose is like stuffing up. Maybe I'm getting the flu now as we speak. Flu and fatigue. You know what I need? I better throw verbal ropes on my face and get a Japanese song playing. So she stands up and she looks over the booth and she talks to that other couple. And then a few minutes later, the couple hands over a sketch. The woman drew a sketch of the little girl, and it was actually pretty good. Like, for, especially as dark as Casa Vega is. It is so dark, folks. I will tell you, it is so dark. You could actually have sex in this restaurant, but it was really, really dark, and she still saw so. But again, she was, like I said, she's just sunshine in this little package. So of course you can see her brightly and clearly. And so she did a little sketch of her, which was really nice. And we start talking about their job, and we start joking about the show, and they asked me questions, and I talked to them, and it was just a lovely lovely lunch. Our waiter, by the way, we kept talking, and our waiter, here's the thing about Casa Vega, it is old school, man. It's these dudes, these waiters have worked there for, probably 20 fucking years, 30 years, same dudes. You walk in, they're all wearing that like kind of almost like a fake tux, like an old school waiter, like long sleeve white shirt and a black vest with a bow tie. I mean, they are just playing the role, and they're older, suave Mexican dudes. I mean, they're fucking awesome. So sure enough, we kept talking, and the dude kept coming to the table and kind of diving over and looking at us, and we'd be like, dude, we haven't even opened a menu yet. Like, we haven't even looked at anything. And so to keep him at bay, I was like, hey, can we get the guacamole fresco, and chips? And because they already bring you salsa and chips for free, but then guacamole fresco. There's two different kinds of guacamole. If you go there, you can get the tableside guacamole, like I said. Unless you're planning on having sex with somebody, then I would table the idea of the tableside guacamole and just go with the guacamole fresco, which they bring to you all prepared. And the good thing about the guacamole fresco at Casa Vega, it comes with flour chips. Yeah, that's right. When they bring you salsa and chips to your table, they're corn chips, and they're all homemade. They make their own chips, but the flour chips are just delightful. They're a little puffy, and but they're still crispy, and they have that floury taste. Oh, folks, here's me waxing rhapsodic about nachos. What a fucking idiot. Here's me jerking off over flour chips. Jesus Christ, get on with it. So sure enough, we sit there. We have a lovely conversation. Now, I will say this, Seth, and this happens sometimes with people, but Seth, because, this is a show where I tell stories, not this week particularly, but I mean, other shows, every other weeks, I'll tell you a story about something that happened in my life, like a longer story. And so Seth decided, and again, I don't know why, but he decided he wanted to tell me outrageous things he had done in his life. And he even told me, he's like, I tried to think of some things that I could tell you that are crazy. And he told me a couple of things that he'd done, and I was like, Jesus Christ, all right, well, that's a little screwy. And I wanted to go, hey, your wife's right here. You probably shouldn't be doing this, but that's fine. You don't want to reveal that much of yourself to me, then that's okay. But then when we sat down, I had brought them shirts. I asked them, I go, do you guys have your dirt shirts? And they were very nice to be excited. And they're like, oh my God, no, we don't. And I go, well, all right, I will bring them. What are the sizes? And I brought, I brought a shirt for Tracy. I brought a shirt for our friend Seth. And then I brought a third shirt because I wasn't sure what size Tracy would wear. So I gambled. I was like, well, I'll bring a small and a medium ladies shirt. And I brought them, and she was like, oh, the small. She goes, I think a small. And I go, well, the smalls are really small. Because when I ordered these shirts, the smalls are crazy. They look like a fucking handy wiper, so almost like an oven mitt. That's how big they are. And she looked at it, she goes, ooh, yeah, maybe the medium. So I give her the medium. She's like, yeah, this will be perfect. And but it worked out perfectly because then I had the small, and I could give it to their lovely, beautiful, sunshine, sketched up daughter. I could send it to her. I could just go, well, here's her shirt. And she, of course, she giggled and laughed, and she was so happy to get a shirt from me. And I don't know if she was happy, she was just being herself because she's a child, and she realizes the world is her oyster, and it's just opening up in front of her, and she can do whatever she wants because she's incredibly gorgeous, and everybody will do whatever she says, and they should because she's fucking perfection. And I realize this is probably borderline creepy, but please know that I mean it in the way, like I said, in the genre, or specifically by saying, it filled me with happiness, as if you were petting puppies. If there were 10 puppies, that's who she was. She was 10 puppies in a small 3-foot package, just absolute joy and love and radiated fun and hope, just hope. So I gave them their shirts, and then Seth is like, hey, we have gifts for you, which, you don't have to, but it's very nice that they did. So the first thing they gave me was something called Dewar's Chews, or Dewar's Chews, which is a candy made by a factory in their hometown. I don't want to say where they live, but of course, now that I've said Dewar's Chews, you can look it up and you'll find out exactly where it's located. But he told me, he goes, whenever anybody comes to town, this is the thing they have to get. They have to have these Dewar's Chews, or whenever they have friends come over, they're like, all right, we're going to get some Dewar's. We're going to get those before we split. So he handed me those, and what they are, it looked like a peanut butter taffy. I didn't want to open it up because we had a lunch coming. After we eventually ordered, finally we got the menus out and we went ahead and busted out an order because the dude was kind of lurking and we had to do it. So they gave me the Dewar's Chews, which was very nice. And then they give me a bag, and I reach in this bag, and dudes, I mean, I pull out. They got me a fucking Chicago Blackhawks hoodie. It's phenomenal. Black, big fucking, and the Blackhawk on the front. But even better, on the back, it says Schmidt 40. They got my name. It's a style of hoodie where you can get it personalized, and it says Schmidt 40 on the back. And I'm like, God damn it, that is the fucking, again, just the coolest, nicest, most awesome thing in the goddamn world. And you don't have to do that. It was lovely that they did. I was so happy. So now I got candy and a hoodie, and it's fucking fantastic. And then he goes, well, wait, we got one more thing. It's kind of a goofy gift. And I'm like, oh, well, Jesus Christ, you already gave me the amazing. I don't care how silly it is. It's fine. And I reached in the bag, dudes. He says, he's like, this is a goofy, silly thing. No, incorrect. They got me an autographed Stu Barnes hockey card. You know Stu Barnes of the legendary Stu look. Stu Barnes from the Winnipeg Jets when I was a kid, picking him in Sega and crushing my brothers with him. Stu Barnes. The Stu look. That's all you need to fucking know. They got me an autographed Stu Barnes card. Are you fucking... I mean, look, dude, the hoodie is fantastic. Schmidt 40, fantastic. It's brilliant. I love it. I'm a hoodie guy. I'm so happy to have it. I had no Blackhawk gear. But, dude, an autographed... Because, again, that's the thing. He's like, this is just kind of silly. Fuck that silly. This is awesome. A Stu Barnes card. That's the fucking greatest. They got me a Mike Schmidt card and a Stu Barnes card. I mean, I don't need anything else ever again. I can die. I can die happy. As long as their daughter comes over and visits me every week and just says hi and smiles. And then she goes home. That's it. If she FaceTimes me once a week, she doesn't have to come visit me. If she just FaceTimes me and she's like, hi, and smiles, and says my name and then goes home, I'll be happy. But dudes, they give me a Blackhawk hoodie and a fucking Stu Barnes autographed card, and then peanut butter taffy, which is the perfect flavor. You had to get peanut butter because that's who I am as a guy. So I got Doers Chews, I got fucking Blackhawks hoodie, and I got Stu Barnes fucking hockey card. Ridiculous and unbelievable haul, and I can't thank them enough. It was so great. And then lunch we eat, they pay for it. It was Casa Vega is not cheap, man. It's not some... Look, just because you can have sex in the restaurant doesn't mean it's a cheap joint. I mean, it's expensive, for fuck's sake. So they pay for lunch, and I'm like, oh, man. We talk. We're there for a couple of hours, and then they were going to head back down. They're going to head not back down. They're going to head down to Disneyland for a couple of days. So we went to Split, and I said, look, I got to hit the head. I'll meet you guys outside. And, I go in, I wash my face, do whatever. I walk out, and as I walk out... There's somebody at the actual bar. Like I said, the bar had people in it, but they were all sitting at tables. They were eating lunch, and perhaps they were drinking. I don't know. Perhaps they were drinking a Moscow Mule or two. I don't know how they handle their lives at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2:30, 3:30 in the afternoon. Maybe you got to bang that down. Maybe, like I said, you need a Scotch neat. Maybe you need a whiskey sour. I don't know. I'm just saying drinks now at this point. But still, maybe you need those things to get through the day. It is a Monday afternoon after all. But when I walk out, there's two people at the bar, and the guy, because I walk up, and here's the thing, it's a small doorway I come out of, and it's kind of a narrow space where you have to walk right by the bar and walk right by the person. But as I walk by, the person at the bar turns and looks at me, and I see him. I see his face, and I immediately know who it is. So I keep my glance on him. He looks over his shoulder. He watches me walk, and I watch him as I'm walking, and then he turns his head back, and he's with a blonde at the bar. And in my head, I'm like, oh, that's kind of fucking neat. I wonder if they saw him on the way out. So I split. I go outside, and they're waiting for me, which was very nice. And I said, hey, did you guys see who was at the bar? And Seth goes, wait a minute. He goes, was it Daryl? And I go, it was Daryl. It was Norman Reedus from Walking Dead. He was at the bar at 3:30 in the afternoon with a blonde. And then Tracy she had the daughter, and she comes walking over, and I said, did you see, I said, who watches Walking Dead? And she's like, oh my God, I do. And I said, well, did you see Daryl at the bar? She goes, what? I go, yeah, Daryl's inside. She goes, oh my God, all right, I'm going to go look at him. I go, well, go up and talk to him. She goes, no, I'm going to go look at him. So she went in. And in the meantime, Seth goes, hey, I have a favor to ask you. I said, okay. He goes, well, my mom came to see you in San Francisco. I said, yes, I remember. You told me, and I remember that vaguely. And he just goes, all right. Well, so I played her some of your shows. And I don't know what that means. I don't know why you're ever playing your mom any of my shows, unless it's, I've done some things that are kind of semi-heartfelt about my own mom, and maybe you're doing that because you want them to hear it. I don't know. It could be the Father's Day episode. Who knows? There are some shows that are appropriate for your parents. There are a lot more that are not. So Seth goes, hey, man, so I played, I played some of your shows for my mom. And I go, yeah. And he goes, so her favorite story is the glory hole story. And look, folks, I don't know. Look, my mom, I'm close with my mom, and I swear in front of her now, which I probably shouldn't do. And I told you my mom's whole speech about sex to me was don't knock anybody up. That was it. That's what she said. That's as close as we got to any sort of sex talk. Don't knock anybody up. I can't imagine the leaps I would have to make psychically as a human being, how I would have to get to any sort of place where I discussed a glory hole with my mom. I can't ever imagine it becoming anything that I would ever do, have to do, want to do, be willing to do ever in a million years. Because I'll tell you what, it opens up all sorts of questions for me about Seth's mom. She hears the story. Is she already familiar with what a glory hole is, or do I explain it enough in the story so she knows what it is and she's on board with it and she understands it? I don't know. Or has she heard of it before? She might be a saucy lady. She might be bawdy. She might have heard this kind of stuff around the locker room or around the fucking water cooler. I don't know what job she has. I know she was lovely when I met her in San Francisco. And when I met her, I probably didn't think to myself, well, let's talk about glory holes. How about that? But granted, she saw me on stage and I talked about some things that I swore a lot and I threw a cat and whatever the fuck. But still, the very fact that he said to me the words, my mom's favorite story is the glory hole story, that's just not a sentence I ever expected to fucking hear. So he's like, well, hey, if I call her, will you do the voice for her? And I said, I'm like, of course, yes. They just gave me a Stu Barnes autographed card. They just gave me a Schmidt 40 Blackhawks hoodie. They just gave me their daughter for 6 months out of the 12 of the year. I get to keep her, and she gets to be here to just make me happy. That's fantastic. How could I possibly turn down calling his mom? Even though, as you know, folks, I don't like talking to anybody on the goddamn phone. Have I made that clear? I don't want to talk to anybody. So in my head, I'm like, well, all right, I'll leave a message on her answering machine. Maybe, because there's no way, look, or her voicemail, her answering machine. That's how old I am, for fuck's sake. I will call her voicemail and I will leave this message and I will talk in that voice. Let's do it. So he goes, great. So he takes the phone, he starts dialing, and then Tracy comes out and she's like, oh my God, I finally saw him. And I go, did you talk to him? She goes, no, of course not. She goes, but I saw him. And I said, all right, well, that makes sense. And then their daughter is just there, and like lepers are coming to lay their hands on the daughter because they recognize her healing powers because she's so fucking perfect. And then Seth goes, all right, Ma, hey, he goes, here's Mike. So he turns the phone around. He fucking... Dudes, all right, like I said, I thought I was going to be leaving a voicemail. Like in my head, I'm like, well, I can leave a voicemail there. I could do something like that because then that's something she gets to keep forever if she wants to. I don't want to be presuming anything here that she really can't wait to keep my glory hole voicemail for the rest of her goddamn life. But at the same time, there's something more surprising when she sees a message and goes, whoa, look, Seth called. That's beautiful. And then she hits play and then it's me going, hey, you don't come to a glory hole if you don't want to suck a dick. And then she hears that on the phone, and then she's like, oh, what a delight. I guess Seth met Mike, or Seth has learned how to do Mike. And he can do me in the morning, and he can do me at the night. But instead, he gives me the phone, and there on the phone is his mom. He has FaceTimed his mom so I can tell her about glory holes to her face. And I don't know. Look, I don't know how you run your life. Like I said, it's weird enough leaving a voicemail about a glory hole and sucking a cock to your mom, but to look her in the eye certainly via computer or phone or whatever the fuck you want to call it, but to see her face when I do this, it just, Look, I'm a performer. I sucked it up. I mean, I was ready to do it in the moment. I'm ready to go. You know, I just got to make sure the daughter's got earmuffs on. But I mean, I sure enough, I get the phone and I go, hi. And she goes, oh, hi, Mike. Oh my God, Seth. Yeah, he told me that he was going to see you. And she goes, this is really, and this was kind of fun. His mom was like a fan, like kind of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm talking to you. Like kind of embarrassed too. Like, oh, you're there. Oh, this is great. And, I said, so Seth wanted me to call you because he said that your favorite story is a story that I'm not going to repeat. And she started laughing, and I go, but he insisted that I call, and I go, hey, fuck you. And she starts cracking up, and I go, you don't come to a glory hole if you don't want to suck a dick. And she, because again, I had my doubts. Like part of me thought this was an elaborate prank for me to call his mom and say, hey, fuck you. And see her face and go, why I never, and then reach through and slap me through the goddamn phone like Curly getting fucking punched by soup. And I'm like, oh, dude, this is going to be fucking ridiculous. However, right when I did it, I go, Seth tells me that your favorite story, and she starts laughing immediately. And then I do the voice, and I go, hey, you don't come to a glory hole if you don't want to suck a dick. And she's fucking dying. She's dying. And I'm standing in a parking lot at 3:30 in the afternoon of a Mexican joint. Norman Reedus is on the inside, and I'm outside talking about glory holes with a very lovely woman via FaceTime, while the most gorgeous little girl in the world flitters about and makes butterflies land on her and be happy. I mean, it was just fucking amazing. It was so fun and so cool, and it also made me go, because again, you know me, I talk myself into going, well, you know, nobody wants to hear me do this shit. Nobody likes this. And then you find some woman who I would have never fucking expected, and certainly to like a story that I absolutely never fucking expected. But it was perfect. So I did the voice for her, and we talked a little more, and I told her to take care, and I said I'd be coming up to the Bay Area to do a show, and I certainly expect her to be in attendance at that point. She's got to come to that show, without a doubt. And it was perfect. He hangs up the phone. And I go, you know how awkward that was, right? He goes, oh yeah, absolutely. And I go, all right, good. I just want to make sure we all recognize how fucking weird it was that I just talked about a glory hole to your mom. And then they were very lovely. And then, you know, I went to go to my car, and I walked them to their car, and I hugged them all goodbye, and they went to split and go to Anaheim. And it was funny because, like I said, it was 3:30. So they go, yeah, we're going to Disneyland. And I go, all right. Well, I go, well, you should get there by 7. And Tracy's just like, oh my God, don't say that. I go, oh yeah, no, it's about 40 miles, but it's going to take you 2 hours. And she goes, oh Jesus, don't say that. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but it's going to be rough. Don't kid yourselves. And I walked to my car, and you know, after saying my goodbyes, and then I thought to myself, you know what? Fuck this. I have to fucking take I got to put the hoodie on. I needed this because we took photos. We took some photos of all of us together in front of the restaurant. You know, we did it selfie style, and then we took, you know, I think Tracy took a picture of me and Seth and whatever. It was nice saying our goodbyes. And then I got to the car and I go, fuck, I didn't even try the hoodie on. So I put the hoodie on, and it felt gorgeous. It looks gorgeous. And so I walked over to the car. And you know, and I looked at him and I go, you got to get a photo of me in this. I go, because I can't take it myself. So they took a photo of me in the Black Hawk hoodie front and back. And I'll post that so you guys will see that. And yeah, I'll post the photos of them. And if Seth says it's okay, or Tracy, and maybe I'll post a photo of their daughter. And I know you're thinking, well, you took photos of their daughter too, you creep. I did not. I will tell you. Like I said, we took the selfie of all of us together. But later on that night, I was in my house and I got a text because, again, I'm not going to get a fucking phone call because everybody recognizes me and my time and how valuable they are. But instead, I'm at my house and I get a fucking phone call or a text, I should say. And I look and it's from Seth, and he's just like, look, I just wanted to thank you again for the amazing time and thank you for years of storytelling. Very nice thing. He wrote me a very nice note, but he also said, he just said, look at her. All right, you know, actually, hold on. I'm going to pull up my phone and I'm going to read it to you exactly what he wrote because it was gorgeous. It showed up and I was like, all right, well, hold on a second. And it just says, 40-year-old boy's newest fan with her yurt dirt pose. Thanks again for hanging out with us today. And it's a picture of his gorgeous daughter, and she's wearing her yurt dirt shirt in the hotel down by Anaheim. And Just so beautiful, and it was so great and really fun, and I was excited to meet them. And I will tell you this, man, it's important for me to anytime look, because I get people all the time who are like, well, I was in town and I didn't call you, or I thought about it, but I didn't want to bother you. Hey, man, I got news for you. You're not bothering me at all. If you want to see me, if you're around here, if you want to fucking do anything with me, let me know and I'm in. I will do what I can to work whatever schedule I can to fucking see you and make it happen. Because as I told you, most of my time these days is spent under a blanket or under two pillows in my goddamn house, laying on my right side, holding my balls in my left and moaning. So please, if you want to see me, you want to go have lunch, you want to see a movie, you want to do anything like that, I'm in. I mean, we're friends, so let's all be friends, right? You want to fucking, because I tell you this, I think I'm going. I'm going to. Well, I don't want to say too much, but I mean, I know I'm going on the road. I'm going to do a show at somebody's house coming up here soon. And then just the other day, I was talking to this is official. Well, fuck. Should I do this now? I guess I should. Yeah. You know what? Holy fuck! Oh my god, is that real? I apologize. I just looked at how much time I've been talking. Again, at my desk, I can go ahead and focus on the computer and I stare right at it and I see exactly where I'm at. But now I see this and it's like, holy fuck. Because again, this was going to be day 4 in Japan. And we wound up, what's funny? I'm going to call this a practice show. I mean, it's an actual show. We'll make this an episode of the fucking season, but it won't be a Japan show. Maybe I'll go ahead and I'll go back and I'll use the real music. I got to build it when I'm done here talking. But here's the point, folks. Remember I told you I forgot how to do this? Well, I mean, I guess I haven't. I mean, now that I look at it, I see that I breezed through fucking whatever the fuck, an hour and a half talking to you guys about this stuff. So we'll call it, we'll call this Back on the Horse. This is the episode where we got back on the horse. We wound up talking because last week we're off. We got the fever. We're fatigued. We're hiding. We've been doing weird shows about Japan. We've been kind of, and I guess they're the same, but it was a different format to talk about Japan. And I was ready to talk about day 4 in Japan. Dudes, I got 11 more days of Japan to fucking drop on you. But instead, we'll call this the respite. This was an intermission, a Japanese intermission. And instead, I had to learn how to do the show again. I had to get back on the horse. I saddled up and now we rode. Look at us. We're riding together, folks. We're in the cavalry, motherfuckers. We are charging. I got my saber out. I'm pointing it forward. We're all riding forward and just fucking going to pick a fight like Braveheart. Let's do this, goddammit. Let's hop on our horses and move forward. And if you want to fucking see me, man, call me or do something. And I know that sounds desperate and weird. I mean, I'm going to see Black Panther tomorrow night by myself. Because I was going to wait a week and then I went, why the fuck are you going to wait a week? You like to see it in a fucking theater where everybody's going crazy. But John, he's going with his girlfriend. That's another thing. John's a young guy who I would hang out with, but he's got a girlfriend he's got to do shit with. All my friends are like, they got pals and fucking wives and stuff. And I'm like, man, what a drag. I would love to go have somebody to hang out with. So if you're in town, you want to see me or whatever the fuck, tell me. I'm in. Let's be friends. You guys can get me at Mike@MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You guys can be my friends. I get my friends at Facebook. You can be that. My friend at Facebook.com/the40year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40year-old-boy. And should I do an official thing here with plugs and the whole nine? Yeah, why not? Why the fuck shouldn't I? And I'm also on Instagram and Snapchat at Mike40YOB. Did you know that? Are you aware of that? You can find me on there. All these other places I've talked about, like Facebook and Twitter, that's old hat. But Instagram and Snapchat, you can fucking dig me up on there with Mike40YOB. Send me a video of yourself like our friend Sir Coxley does when he goes up to the mountain and he rides on a snowboard. Or when our friend Tom sends me something from his living room as he's commenting on the Olympics. Or your any of our friends. Our friend Bunny in Britain. Bunny in Britain. Our friend Ashley. Everybody who writes me on Snapchat and says, hey, check this out, man. And also the people on Instagram who are sending me Instagram stories or liking my stuff, like our friend Chuck. Everybody who's out there and is super cool. Greg, who just followed me on Instagram. Thank you, everybody. But we're all friends. Let's all get together and do stuff online or off. If you're in my town, let me know, goddammit. What else? So there's more plugs. Oh yeah. So find me at all those places and be my friend and follow me there. Please remember this. I will tell you this. Remember that the YouTube station, the YouTube channel, whatever the fuck exists. And if you can subscribe to it, that would be the best. I would love it very much. It's funny. This week I wanted to promote it. I actually was going to go on Twitter and promote it. I was going to try to ask, Jimmy and Matt from Never Not Funny to retweet it for me and try to get some more people on board because I got to get 200 more people by the end of the month. And then the video I wanted to use, I went to Japan and I was on Snapchat, so my Snapchat people saw it. If they watched it, they might have just fucking erased it. I wouldn't blame them. But I went in Japan and I went and got a haircut and a shave in Japan, and I filmed the whole fucking thing. And it turned out to be like fucking 10 minutes long or 9 minutes long. But I loved it because you know why? It was in my head. I was like, this is funny and it's fun. And then I thought, you know what? I can use that to promote the YouTube channel. So we'll go ahead and put it on YouTube, and I'll go ahead and tweet that out because it was very me. It was, I've got a lot of other videos that are like a minute long or 2 minutes long, and they're, where it's me talking or commenting on stuff. But this was me. It's my face. It's everything. But the thing is, Snapchat defaults to profile when you film. Like, you can do landscape with your phone twisted, and then you can hold it straight up and down. It's profile. I swear to God, I filmed in landscape. I swear to God when I was doing it. But again, it's very difficult to be a cinematographer when you have a razor blade at your throat. I can tell you that. When somebody's got a razor blade perched right at your jugular vein, it is very difficult to be the best cinematographer you could possibly be. Now, no one can be David Lean when someone is inches away from cutting them throat and killing them. So I wanted to be, but when I saw the video, I was like, this is fucking awesome. And I sent it to Gio, and he's like, hey, my advice is to not tweet this out. I'm like, why? And he goes, because it's in portrait. He goes, everybody think you're fucking stupid. And I'm like, yeah, but it's funny. Like, I get that, but at least it's still funny. He goes, yeah, but no matter what, if you tweet out video, if you film in portrait, everybody thinks it's a mistake. Like, you don't know what you're doing. And I was like, but dude, I'm so me in this video. Like, I'm so funny and it's fun. And he goes, yeah, it is. He goes, but it's in portrait. And he goes, I'm just telling you how you know how the internet works. People are going to be like, oh, I can't watch this. It's in portrait. Oh my God, it's so terrible. What did you do? I mean, yeah, but it's only my face. I mean, how much landscape do you want in the barber fucking shop? I'm going to defer to him, I guess. But then part of me is still thinking I should send it out. I don't know. Fuck. Either way, it'll be up there on YouTube for people to see, or I might just use it for Patreon. I don't fucking know what I'm doing with my life these days. But it's going to be up. Someone will be able to see it, or some of you, and you might not even want to. You're probably thinking to yourself, why the fuck are you telling us about you getting a shave? Nobody fucking cares about watching you get a haircut. Fine, I get that. But we're all friends, right? Like I just said earlier, we're friends. Find me and let's get haircuts together, and we'll film it. It'll be fantastic. And we'll do it in fucking landscapes. We can show it to people without being fucking embarrassed and getting yelled at by our goddamn YouTube guy. My YouTube channel exists. Please subscribe to the 40-Year-Old Boy channel. It would be great because I got to get, like I said, 200 more people by the end of the month, or they're going to say, hey, Mike, you can't make any more money. Now, look, am I making more than $4 a month? Probably not, but so what? And there's some other things coming down the pipeline that might lead to more YouTube stuff. I don't know, folks. Look, I'm up in the air on a lot of things. I'm being talked and tugged and pulled into a lot of different directions, and I'm saying yes to a lot of things that I don't think I should say yes to, but we'll see. Going forward, what the hell else do I have to do? I'm 50. I'm going to be dead soon, man. I might as well try everything at this fucking point to not get a real job. To just come out and talk to you guys, do whatever the fuck I can, because that's what I want to do with my life. I just want to talk to you guys. I want to be friends with you. I want to see you. I want to hang out, whatever. I want to get hoodies from you and autographed cards, and I want to give you t-shirts. Let's do it. Let's be together in all this, like I mentioned and said. But the YouTube channel exists. If you could go ahead and subscribe to it, it would make me very happy, as I've mentioned. Go to Find the 40-Year-Old Boy on YouTube, and remember that's the number 40. Please be a subscriber. And our friend Gio is the guy who took care of all of that stuff. He went and uploaded it. He maintains the channel for me. He tells me what I can and can't put up, apparently. He's the boss of me. Please know that Giovanni Giorgio Peluso, you can find him at facebook.com/Giovanni Giorgio Peluso. He's on Twitter as well under, I believe, the same name, or he might be under Superfan Gio, because he is Superfan Gio, not superfan of me, but superfan of others. He's a super fan of Adam Carolla. He does all of the Loveline stuff. He goes ahead and reboots that and puts it all together, finds all the old shows and patches them back together. And then he's got his own podcasts, and I will tell you this. I don't know the name of his video game podcast. However, I did it this week. I went on and talked about it. And if you want, so I was going to talk about Japan this week, but if you want to hear me, I didn't get to it, but if you want to hear me talk about Japan, you can go ahead and listen to our good friend Gio's podcast, the video game show that I will tweet out and I will put on Facebook. And I will plug maybe on Instagram and wherever the fuck else, because I don't have the name of it right now and I feel like a dummy. But I at the same time, I don't recall. I think he gave it to me one time what the name of it was. But it was me and Gio and his friend Chris. They're the co-hosts of that show. And we had a nice chat. And by a nice chat, I mean I talked a lot and they listened because they were nice and they didn't want to tell me to shut up because I was monopolizing the fucking airtime, which was very friendly and nice of them. So thank you to Gio and Chris for having me on their video game podcast, which is out there. And once I find out the name, like I said, I'll tweet it, I'll promote it, I'll put it on Facebook and everywhere else. But please subscribe to the YouTube station. I mentioned that again. Remember that our good friend Ryan Dirks does all of the web stuff for this show. He's the coolest and the best, and he's going to be in charge of the website once we do flip it over and change it, which has been discussed. But who knows when it'll happen? But hopefully soon we can go ahead and start making some movement and some progress on that sort of thing. Please remember you can go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. That's my website, and you can go to the Joe Business page. We're selling things. We got Yerk Dirt Dirt shirts. Some of them are left. I haven't given them away for free to the Seths and the Tracys of the world. There's some that you can actually purchase, which would be nice. We've got download sets on there, all the live stuff. We've got, if you want to buy stuff to own, on YouTube, all of the archives are there. If you want to subscribe and listen there, you can. But if you want to buy full seasons, that stuff's still available over there at MikeSchmidtComedy.com at the Joe Business page. But most importantly, folks, here's the deal. Well, there's an Amazon link over there. If you click on the Amazon link, that would make me very happy, and it would get you in the mood to start buying some things at Amazon. And we get money, they get money, and you get stuff. It's perfect. It doesn't cost you anything extra. Just like 40-Year-Old Boy, the YouTube channel. You can subscribe and never watch a second of it. I'd prefer that you watch stuff. I'd prefer that you listen to old shows or explored some of the video that we have on there because I think there's some good and funny stuff available. However, if you just subscribed and then ignored it forever, you could do that. I mean, it wouldn't kill me. And I'd have a subscriber and we'd all be happy. But I think you would find that you would like some of the stuff that's over there if you ever wanted to jump in and go ahead and listen or peruse. So why not peruse? Subscribe. And the same thing goes with the fucking Amazon link. It doesn't cost you anything. It helps the show. You use the Amazon link. You buy through. You click through. We get money. They get money. You get stuff. You were buying stuff anyway. It's just a cool ass way for you to go ahead and jump on board and help the show in a very surreptitious, almost invisible way. Like you're not even, you're almost just throwing me a pittance. You're just like, fuck that guy. That's the fuck that guy way to help this show. Still helps the show, but you can also say, fuck that guy, because it's just kind of like Amazon's giving me your pennies. It's almost as like, you're driving off in a fancy car and I get to breathe in your exhaust, but I'm happy to breathe in your exhaust, folks. Go to Amazon and use the link, the 40-Year-Old Boy link, and buy a bunch of stuff and then just drive off in your fancy stuff while all the fucking gas hits me in the face. We get money, they get money, you get stuff, and I get to suck in your exhaust and feel happy about it. Let's do that. That's how I like to frame it. Go ahead and kill me with carbon monoxide. Because I want it. I love it so bad. You know what? We have sponsors, folks. Have I mentioned the sponsors for this show? I don't think I have. First sponsor that I'll mention is our friend Jerome. Jerome's over there at getthebutters.com. You can use the code 40YOB and get butters and balms and lubes and masks and loofahs and gloves and all sorts of crazy shit over there at that website in Michigan, unless the weather has frozen at all and he has found himself in a position where all of his inventory has frozen solid. He will be happy to go ahead and accommodate you and get you something immediately if you purchase it at getthebutters.com. That's getthebutters.com. Use the code 40YOB to save extra money on a scrub. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, well, what if I buy a lotion and I get something that's crunchy? Well, guess what? That's just frozen lotion because the scrub has scrubby stuff in it. But, as of this moment, because it's winter, everything is scrubby. You get a lotion, it's scrubby. You get a loofah, it's scrubby because everything's frozen, for fuck's sake. You can have shards of ice in anything that you purchase, but it's good. It invigorates the skin. Did you know that? Shards of ice invigorate the skin. I want my band to be named Shards of Ice. Shards of Ice invigorate the skin, folks. So go ahead and buy frozen lotion and frozen balms and frozen bombs and frozen butters and frozen lubes and frozen everything else from fucking frozen getthebutters.com and bring it to your host bring it to your house with the code 40YOB. Jerome thanks you and so do I. Folks, there's a podcast that you're listening to called The 40-Year-Old Boy, but there are other podcasts out there. Did you know that? Did you know that there's all sorts of podcasts? There's things that range from comedy to even more comedy. I understand that there was a medical podcast out there called Is That Infected? I understand that that's available for you to go ahead and listen to. But they don't pay to sponsor this show. They don't jump on board and tell me to talk about them. So I don't know why I gave them a free plug just then. But you know who does want me to sponsor them? You know who does go ahead and sponsor this show and want me to go ahead and promote them? Well, that's our good friends over there at The Paranoid Strain, folks. That's available on iTunes. It's a podcast about the the weirdness in our world is how I'll frame it. It's about all sorts of crazy things. He just finished like a 3-episode arc about the Freeman and the Bundy family and all those other assholes and all these Wesley Snipes sovereign citizens tax evader motherfuckers. And now he figures, you know what? I got 3 of those episodes down under my belt. Now it's time. It's time to tackle on the biggest problem of our age. So right now, episode 6 is up in the iTunes store. Go download it and hear Fearful Jesuit bring you through, talk to you, and hold your hand as they discuss chemtrails. Yeah, that's right, folks. Chemtrails and HAARP, which is an anagram that I don't even want to tell you what the fuck it stands for. It's an abbreviation. Well, it's an anagram? No, it's not an anagram. It's an abbreviation. Could be. It is an anagram. It's an anagram for HROP. But HAARP, you got to go ahead and find out. Listen to the show. It's all about chemtrails. It's all about these fucking idiots who think that the society is being taken over and ruined by those things that come out of planes. It's a mess. The world's a mess. And what you need is someone like Fearful Jesuit to make sense of it for you. At the Paranoid Strain podcast, available right now in iTunes. Go ahead and dial it up, check it out, figure it out, listen to it, love it. Listen to all the cool-ass things that he talks about and his spooky stuff, and he talks about these idiots and HAARP and all this other nonsense, and do me a favor, when you listen to it, you're going to love it. Again, like I said, any show that's different than this show, I'm on board with. It's because this is just me talking, as you can see. I was supposed to talk about Japan, and look what the fuck happened. I spun off, and we didn't even get to it. Now, Fearful Jesuit doesn't do that. He's got a whole schedule. He lays it out. He talks about the stuff he wants to talk about. He's got drops. He's got professional songs. He's got all sorts of stuff like that. So please, give him a chance. Give him a chance. Come on. Give him a chance, idiot. I'm very nervous right now, and I'll tell you why. You might hear things that might have changed a little bit here, and I'll tell you why in just a second as we're on the way out. But I will tell you, first of all, again, like I said, listen to Paranoid Strain. It's in iTunes right now. Go ahead and download it. Please subscribe to that podcast. Not only that, would you leave feedback, please, in the iTunes store? Say how much you like Paranoid Strain. And not only that, tell him Mike Schmidt sent you so he knows that I'm a hitter and that he's making the right move by having me support his show. The Paranoid Strain is available in iTunes. Go ahead and leave a review in iTunes talking about how great it is. And also contact... you can get a hold of them at all sorts of different places. They're at the paranoidstrain@gmail.com. You can Twitter them at the Paranoid Strain. They're at and they have the paranoidstrain.com website. You can find them at all of those places, but when you contact them, make sure you tell them that Mike Schmidt told you to go and you like the show because you heard it on my show, all of that cool stuff. It makes me look like a hitter, which is always important, as I've mentioned. So please do that. Reach out to the Fearful Jesuit, reach out to Fearful Jesuit, not the Fearful Jesuit. It's the Paranoid Strain, hosted by Fearful Jesuit. That's how it works. And I will tell you this, unless you're in Posse Comitatus and you want to bitch about those 3 shows where he took you apart, motherfuckers, and then in that case, don't leave a review in the iTunes. I can't wait till those people start showing up and talking a bunch of shit about our man Paranoid Strain host Fearful Jesuit, who then will have to go underground, like the Jam. He's going underground. You wanna get back, you're gonna hit the floor for tomorrow. La 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 la. Hi. All right, so what else was there? We've covered all of the things we need to cover. We've done as many plugs as we could possibly do, except for the really important plug of the show. As you all know, this is the most important plug of all. Our friend David Hernandez does amazing things for this show, including all of the artwork, all of the music that you hear all the time. He is the guy who is running the show. He's on point. I talk, he does everything else, and that's really cool. I need somebody to do everything else. Well, most everything else. I mean, he does let's put it this way, he does all the cool-ass stuff, and then I talk and edit. But he does the music, he does the artwork. So he did a Japanese theme song, which you'll hear later. I'm not going to do it. I'm actually going to use the actual theme song this week. Why not? It makes sense. But our friend David Hernandez, you can find him at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and be his friend there. Tell him how much you love all the things he does for the show by writing him a message via Messenger. He loves interacting with people, loves talking to fans, loves doing his Mex memes and getting feedback on those. So please find our friend David at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. However, if you're thinking to yourself, well, you know what, David does such fantastic artwork for the show, I would love to have him do something for me, or he's done so many great things for the show, I would love to buy one of the pieces involved in the show itself. Well, I got news for you, and it's the good variety. You can find him at artbydmh.com. That's right. David Hernandez has his own website called artbydmh.com where he will go ahead and sell you artwork. Now, he's got pieces that he's already done. They are Valscapes. They are Gycons. You can go ahead and check those out at the website. Like I said, he's got all the stuff available that he's done here for this show. I would imagine that he's got that stuff available for you, or he could recreate it in some way. Also, if you want him to do something custom, if you're thinking to yourself, you know what, I really want him to paint me on my side, moaning and holding my balls, he can go ahead and do that for you. He's happy to do it. He sets the price. If you say yes, he's on board. That's a dude. And he works in all sorts of, acronym. Fuck. Sorry. Remember earlier when I was saying that HARP was an abbreviation? It's an acronym. That's what the fuck it is. It's not an abbreviation or an anagram. All right, I'm dumb. That just popped into my goddamn head. Anyway, Max, he'll work in all sorts of types of artwork. He'll work with paste. He'll and like I've said before, macaroni. He'll work in ketchup. He'll work in, and he doesn't get a lot of requests for these, but he will work in semen. If you wanted him to make a semen painting in some way, because that's a big thing. Like a lot of people do that. They put their own semen in. I think Picasso did it, right? Wasn't he an idiot? Or Salvador Dali? One of those idiots put their own semen in the fucking paint and they sold their paintings. And it's like, why not? You know, man, you live on. You live forever. You got a Dali on your wall. You got fucking Dali and a couple of squirts of Dali. That's it. He signed it. That's it. He signed it twice. He signed it with Dali. You got Dali and you got DNA. It's right there in the painting. Well, Max will do the same thing. If you want him to. I mean, I don't think he does that with all of his paintings. That would be fucking weird. What if we just found that out? Oh my Christ. What if I just discovered that all of a sudden that he was doing all of this and there was semen in every single fucking piece of artwork he ever did for the goddamn show? And not only that, he jerked off every time he did the songs. How weird would that be? Whenever he was playing, he was jerking off, generating the semen that he used in the artwork. That guy is a one-man band. Truthfully. So he's going to kill me for having spun off into this fucking tangent. The point is, if you go to artbydmh.com, artbydmh.com, you can buy existing artwork. You can commission him to do new artwork, or you can just go ahead and browse and check out all the cool ass stuff there and then write him at facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez and tell him how fucking incredibly talented he is. And he'll just go, yep, I knew that, motherfucker. And then you'll be so impressed with his bravado, you'll order some custom artwork. See, that's the way it works out. That's where he gets you, because he lures you in with his Clint Eastwood-like visage, and then you think to yourself, that's a talented dude. I want to be in business. I want to be in the Mex business. I want to be in the David Hernandez business. Well, you can do that. If you dream up what you want and you just tell him, he'll go ahead and do it, and he'll name the price, and you'll pay it, and everybody will be happy. And now I will tell you this fucking just happened. And this is the weirdest fucking thing and why I was a little nervous there for a couple of minutes. Remember when I was sitting on a chair, under a blanket with a couple of pillows? Yeah, I remember that too. I was recording and I got into the bit about Paranoid Strain, and you know, when I'm recording this out of the corner of my eye, the laptop, if I'm at the desk, I'm looking right at the laptop so I can see the blue lines. I've talked about this before. If I'm sitting on the desk or at the chair with the fucking pillow and the blanket, I got the microphone in front of me, but the fucking computer's perched up on the end table, as I mentioned. Well, out of the corner of my eye, you know, the screensaver kicks in, or it fades to black. And so what I would do is I would just go ahead and run my finger along the mouse and let it pop back up. So I'm talking about Paranoid Strain, and then I see it fade and I start to rub. You can hear, if you listen, you can hear me start to kind of talk in circles a little bit where I'm stalling for time because I'm rolling my finger over the pad and nothing's happening. And I'm rolling it, and then I'm pressing the mouse, and I'm clicking the mouse, and I'm rolling it, and the mouse bar or whatever, because now the new Air, you know, the new laptop Air or whatever the fuck, Mac Air, it's all built in, the whole touchpad, all of it. So I'm running my hand over the touchpad, and I'm touching the bar, and it dawns on me, my battery, the computer's down. It's dark. It's not opening up. It's not letting up because I'm not plugged in. I'm sitting over there with the fucking computer. And I should tell you this, my battery, something fucking happened because I used to be able to sit here and read on my laptop for like 3.5, 4 hours without it being plugged into the wall. Well, just now all of a sudden the battery life on it is gone. And this is a new laptop. The battery on it is going away where it's kind of dying after, 2 hours. But I never even thought of it because I'm sitting over there and I'm talking. And again, like I said, I'm so used to it going like 3-4 hours. and it was dark, and I was like, holy fuck, no. Because again, I mean, last week I didn't get to do a fucking show, and then this week the entire fucking show at an hour and 40 minutes gets eaten. I would have died. So I run over to my desk. I fucking kick over the fucking ottoman. I run over and I plug in my computer, and it's like it gives it that gray screen, and it starts to kind of upload. It's like tick, 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 and then my face appears, and I click it to sign in. And it says Audacity quit unexpectedly. And I'm like, oh, fuck, no fucking way this happened. I cannot believe that this just happened. And then Audacity opened up and it said Audacity closed unexpectedly during a project. However, it said luckily this, or not luckily, however, this project can be recovered. And I was like, because I never saved. I mean, that was a one-take Jake. I mean, I talked straight ahead for that whole hour and 40 minutes. Usually I stop down, I hit save, I stop down, I hit save. But I've gotten into this habit, especially since Japan, of just breezing right through and doing a whole fucking show. Because I like it. I like working that way. So I sit here and I'm staring at it. I'm like, it can be recovered. So I clicked on recovered and the show appeared. The whole show. And it said this, some weird like message of like, well, some of this has been and I'm like, I don't care. I don't give a fuck. I see show and I hit play and it started to play and then it was there. And so I immediately hit save project. I saved project. And I know you're thinking to yourself, Mike, God knows you didn't want to lose the brilliance of you having sex in a restaurant and then all that other bullshit. God knows you don't want that to go away into the ether. I'm so happy for you that you were able to save the show. And you know what I say to you? Fuck you, man. Why do you mock me? After last week and the bullshit I went through with the flu and the fatigue and the fucking laying down and holding my balls and just moaning. I'll tell you what, you think last week I laid down and I held my balls and I just moaned. Imagine what the fuck I would have done after a fucking hour and 45 minute goddamn show got eaten and I wasn't able to put it up. So, by the way, when this show goes up a little late, you're going to fucking know why. Because I might just sit back here and scrub my forehead and just because I'm literally sweating. Like my palms and my head are sweating. I was freaked the fuck out because I'm like, if I lost the fucking show, I'm going to lose my fucking mind. What the fuck am I going to do? Because again, I don't even like putting up a rerun last week, but I'm going to put up a rerun this week. And then what kind of bullshit story is that? Last week, I got the flu. It happened. Or I got a fever in one day and everybody was very nice. I come back the second week and go, you're not going to believe this, man. Everybody's going to be like, no, of course we're not going to fucking believe this. Well, my computer got eaten. And then, it's like, that's like the dog ate my fucking homework. The computer died in the middle of the fucking show. How long have I been doing this? 10 years? And the fucking computer dies? Good thing I'm not a fucking doctor or an anesthesiologist. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know what happened, man. His fucking heart monitor just died in the middle of it because I forgot that it wasn't plugged in. What a fucking idiot. How do you forget that it's not plugged in? How are you sitting there talking? You know how you forget? Because you're under a blanket and two pillows and you're just leaning back like an 80-year-old man. I should be crocheting. There should be a fireplace and a dog that I throw biscuits to. And I should just sit there and crochet or learn some kind of fucking painting. I should be painting like Bob fucking Ross. That's what I would do. You want somebody who puts semen in his paintings, get me on board. I should go and start jerking off into a fucking green and a blue and just Bob Rossing the shit out of it while I lay under my blanket because how the fuck else could I go in?
Nothing lonelier than being trapped inside yourself. It's easier to hide when you pretend you're the knight. Women love a guy with a giant neck.
We here, we are playing on a level that most will never see. 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 Never see, never see, never see, never see.